guess I didn't see him. What are you looking so sad about, Jack?
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm really insulted. That's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clayton, one time during my career, I bombed a bomber of my tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Box Historian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Mike Mazik, Crush the Legend, the Drunk Irishman. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cat Sports, the Box Historian. Today, the Bowe-Holyfield Trilogy. The Bowe-Holyfield Trilogy has the family today. Technique in the building. Salute, Technique. How are you today? Yeah, we are at the beginning of another big week of boxing history. Trilogy Day. Bowe-Holyfield today. See Fan Man over there in the corner. Came crashing in. Had a good aim too. Laying right on the corner of the ring. That whole big building, he came out of the sky and came right into the ring. Excellent aim by the Fan Man, but he got his butt whipped by Riddick Bowe's entourage. You see over there where he landed at? sitting right over there behind that ring post was Riddick Bowe's entourage. And see those strings hanging out, they bounced him over there to them and beat his butt. Man. But yeah, that was part of the Bowe-Holyfield trilogy. Personally, I think it cost Bowe the second fight because that's the only one Holyfield won. And, the story goes that Bowe's pregnant wife fainted when that happened, and they had to take her out of there, right? And if I was Riddick Bowe, that would have been it. I wouldn't even continue fighting. But he kept fighting, but that had to affect him, And he lost a close decision to Holyfield. Came back and stopped him in the third fight. But let me stop. I'm telling the whole show. Wow. And you've been doing the trilogy. I keep on running my mouth. But how's everybody today? How was everybody's weekend? We got our fight of the day coming up right now. I didn't see it. Yeah, I did see some. Oh, yeah, it was a good card Saturday. Talez got that guy from Germany, man. And then he dropped him in the 12th round. I think they were gonna do a little okey doke on the German guy if he hadn't dropped Talez in that 12th round. Follow the money. But yeah, the right man won it, and man, Talez will be back though. Yeah, but 154 got another big name. The guy stopped Talez and it served notice. So that was 154. That's what we needed, another killer at 154. Wow. Okay, but how was everybody's weekend? Yeah, that was a great card though. Horn, the ladies' fight was good. She got dropped in like the first couple seconds of the first round, but then she came back to dominate the fight. And Holly Holm was watching closely. He wants to fight her. So yeah, that'll be a good one for Holly. Be a good title fight. So yeah, women's boxing is in good shape. Okay. But now, without further ado, let's get on into our fight of the day today. Okay, let's do that. The fight of the day today is Joe Louis versus Jersey Joe Walcott. Louis Walcott won. December 5th, 1947. Okay? Yeah. When you go back a ways, back to the 40s. December 5th, 1947, the Brown Bomber Joe Louis versus Jersey Joe Walcott won. Now, bad decisions, robberies, ridiculous scorecards. Maybe nothing sickens a fight fan more than judges rendering a final verdict, which makes a mockery of a hard-fought contest. Yeah, that's terrible when they do that. Sadly, such incidents are legion in the history of our beloved sport, and in recent years have only become more common. Have only become more common. Now, the worst decisions of all time, you can take your pick. How about Pernell Whitaker shamelessly robbed in his fights with Julio Cesar Chavez and Jose Luis Ramirez? Or how about Timothy Bradley getting a win against Manny Pacquiao, which absolutely no one could take seriously. Even Timothy Bradley's wife thought he lost. Okay, and I could have sworn when the ring announcer said the winner Timothy Bradley, he mouthed the words, "What? Me?" Even Timothy didn't believe that one. Remember that one? That was the first one against Manny. They actually gave that. That's one of the worst robberies of all time. They actually gave that to Tim Bradley. Wow. Mike Rim in the building. What's up, Mike Rim? Fight of the day. Joe Louis, Jersey Walcott won. But we done had some doozies over the years, Yeah, that was bad when they gave that one to Tim over Manny. And Tyrone Everett robbed so bad against Alfredo Escalera back in the 70s. That was so bad. They didn't release, they just said Alfredo Escalera wasn't a fight. that was so bad, they didn't release the scores till the next day, okay? They didn't release the scores until the next day. That's how bad that one was, right? Yeah, that's bad. How about George Foreman outboxed in almost every round? Then he got a gift over unheralded Axel Schultz. Your Foreman lost that one. Or how about James Lights Out Tony getting a decision over little-known contender Dave Tiberi? That one was so bad, it prompted a United States Senate federal investigation into boxing. That's how bad that one was. Tony over Tiberi, yeah. We could stay here the whole show and go on and on about these robberies, you know. Could be here the entire show. Because it's been a lot of bad ones. But there's Jersey Joe and Joe Louis again. Now, needless to say, when an odious robbery takes place, it creates an extremely frustrating situation for the loser. But what about the winner? You know, when he knows he lost and gets the nod. What about the winner? Okay. The recipient of a bad decision is placed in a most awkward position. After all, it's not their fault the judges got it wrong, right? It's not their fault they got their gift. So those who come out on the better end of a bad call often point to the opponent's shortcomings. They say such things like, oh, he never hurt me, or all he did was run. Knowing they lost, but come up with these excuses. He didn't hurt me. All he did was run. That's some of the things they come up with. Or they may go as far, but no further as citing difficulties impeding their own performance, like an injury or a poor training camp. But never will you hear them say, I don't know what the judges were watching because I got beat. They ain't gonna say that. They're not gonna admit they lost. They're not gonna say, well, the judges, I don't know what happened because I got beat. He deserves the win. And it's a shame they didn't get it right. No, the winner of a bad decision will never go that far. However, there's at least one instance of a boxer managing to exude class under this difficult circumstance. The boxer's name is Joe Louis, the legendary Brown Bomber. By 1947, Louis had established himself as a living legend, not only the longest reigning champion in heavyweight history, but the longest reigning world champion at any weight in the history of the sport of boxing. He had held the title for over a decade, successfully defending it 23 times at that point, 20 of them by knockout. And even as he entered the twilight of his career, he still appeared unbeatable. Perhaps the best heavyweight in boxing history. Okay? But on that night, here he is on the mat. Okay. Now, Jersey Joe Walcott had emerged as the next worthy opponent. Challenger number 24. Okay. Joe Louis was riding that streak. He was at 23. Jersey Joe was opponent number 24. After scoring wins over Joey Maxim, Lee Omer, and Elmer Ray. But despite his merit as a top contender, few thought Jersey Joe had any chance to win this fight. After all, he was a former middleweight, a journeyman with 11 losses on his record. He had even been Joe Louis's sparring partner at one point. So it was by no surprise when Oz Merkins pegged Jersey Joe as a 10-1 underdog, right? But as it turned out, the crowd at Madison Square Garden that night almost witnessed one of the greatest upsets in sports history. From the opening bell, they could see that Lewis was flat and uninspired, while Jersey Joe appeared sharp and primed for a tough fight. Focused on an early knockout, Joe Lewis walked right into a counter right hand in the first round, and to everyone's shock, he hit the deck. Jersey Joe put him down in the first round, and it happened again in the fourth round. Okay? First 5 rounds, Jersey Joe put the Brown Bomber down twice. 10-1 underdog coming in. Walcott, now well ahead on points, went about cleanly outboxing Lewis with clever footwork, a stinging jab, and a powerful right hand, winning round after round. Now Joe Lewis kept stalking, gunning for the knockout, but couldn't find the target, right? In the last 3 rounds, Jersey Joe, assured by his corner that the victory was in the bag, stayed away from the champion. But even with Lewis taking the final 3 rounds, to the eyes of most observers, the contest clearly belonged to Jersey Joe. But see, Jersey Joe did that classic mistake in the championship rounds, took his feet off the gas, right? Took his foot off the gas, and it cost him. But even Joe Lewis won all 3 of the 13 through 15, 13, 14, 15. People at ringside said Jersey Joe still won because he was way ahead. He was just about doing a shutout, but he took his foot off the gas, and judges noticed that, right? He made that classic mistake. Now, even before the decision was announced, Joe Lewis made a gesture indicating his own opinion of the outcome of the fight. As they tabulated the scores, Lewis actually attempted to exit the ring. One of the only times that has ever happened in championship history. Disgusted with himself and certain the decision would go against him, Joe Lewis wanted to head to his dressing room and avoid the humiliation of the official verdict. But his corner and various ring officials convinced him to stay in the ring. Joe Lewis tried to leave the ring because he knew what had happened, right? It is one of the times he was on the deck. So his corner and some of the ring officials convinced him to stay to hear the decision because they knew the fix was in, right? Now, once the scorecards were read, with referee Ruby Goldstein voting for Walcott, because see, the referee had a vote and 2 judges at that time. Now, once the scores were read, with referee Ruby Goldstein voting for Walcott, but the 2 ringside judges inexplicably giving the fight to Joe Lewis, the crowd erupted in an astonished outcry. And the winner and still champion did not smile or raise his arms in triumph, but instead made his way to Walcott's corner, shook his hand and said, "I'm sorry, Joe." Went over there and apologized to Walcott, right? Later, when asked about Goldstein's score for Walcott, Joe Lewis could have done the expected, mouth the usual platitudes, about he only did was run, he didn't hurt me, I was hurt, the usual things. But instead, Joe Lewis uttered just about the classiest comment possible. He said, "I know Ruby," talking about the referee, said, "I know Ruby," said the immortal Brown Bomber. He calls him like he sees him. So he was admitting he lost the fight. Yep. And there's Jersey Joe acknowledging the crowd. They know he won it. No, that's Joe Lewis. Okay, yeah, I missed the picture. It's just Jersey Joe was waving, acknowledging the crowd that he won the fight. But that's Joe Lewis there. Classy 2 was Joe Louis's decision to give Walcott an immediate rematch. 6 months later, Louis versus Walcott 2 took place, this time in Yankee Stadium. And the fight moved so slowly, the referee was forced to scold the combatants into actually fighting. In round 11, Louis connected with a powerful right hand, and his follow-up combination put Jersey Joe down for the count. Yeah, Louis stopped him in the second fight. Yeah. It is Joe Louis. That's the winner of the fight of the day. Okay, so now, today is the Bowe-Holyfield trilogy. Okay, that was a real robbery there. Joe Louis knew he lost. He was actually trying to leave the ring before the decision came down. But they said some ring officials convinced him to stay because they knew the fix was in. They already knew they was going to give it to Joe Louis. That's boxing though, right? Okay, let's get into the Bowe-Holyfield trilogy now. This is money. We got plenty of trilogies. Later, we're going to do a preview of the trilogies coming up too. Yeah, excuse me for one moment, please. Okay, the Bowe-Holyfield trilogy. Yeah, like I said, later in the show, we got some time. We're going to preview some of the trilogies coming up. And we're going to have some 4-fight series too. Like Manny. We ain't even going to do Manny Tim Bradley. Nobody wants to see that. Manny and Marquez had 4. Manny probably wished they would have stopped at 3 because of what happened to him in 4. He got slept. Willie Pep and Sandy Sadler had 4. So yeah, we're gonna do some of the 4-fight series too. Okay, but that was a great card this weekend. I can't even remember the German guy's name. Wasn't the guy from Germany that beat Talles? Yeah, he beat him down. Wow. I thought they was gonna stop it in round 12. Talles was fighting back though, so yeah, But man, he was clearly behind at that point. He was getting pieced up bad, and then he went down. So yeah. A good weekend of fighting. September is next week. We're only 18, 19 days away from Canelo Bud. I still got Canelo. Yeah. The Bowe-Holyfield trilogy. Let's get into it. How was everybody's weekend? Hope everybody had a good one. Good to see everybody here on the other side of it. Tomorrow we're going to talk about history of Jewish boxing. Wednesday's going to be Irish. Thursday, Italian. It's going to be like a little ethnic week. We're not going to do the country this week. We're going to look at the history of Italians in boxing. And then Friday this week is going to be the life and career of John Pascal. But again today, the Bowe-Holyfield trilogy. Okay. Bear with me for one moment. Yeah, that's good right there. I was trying to get the music right. Okay, here we go. Now, they're three great heavyweight battles, right? Each one crammed full of action, drama, switching momentums, and plenty of passion. Now, the trilogy raged between Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield reached its conclusion on November 4th, 1995, and the trilogy ended with a bang. The two men, Big Daddy and The Real Deal, were tied with 1 fight apiece. Now, the first fight, which took place in November of 1992 was won on points by the naturally bigger man, Riddick Bowe. Holyfield, the former cruiserweight king, got his revenge a year later, winning a close decision in a fight that was temporarily halted due to the totally unexpected arrival of Fan Man. Yeah. Here's a better look at Fan Man. Totally unexpected arrival of him, right? Stopped the fight, but they got it back started. Now, both of the first two fights had thrilled the fans, especially the first fight, which today is still looked at as one of the best heavyweight fights in history, right? That first fight. Now, the rubber match was eagerly awaited, this time with no title on the line, which didn't matter. The fight was still a must-see for boxing fans. Now, in the rubber match, a somewhat fleshy Riddick Bowe became the first fighter to ever stop the always supremely conditioned Evander Holyfield, but not before both men knocked some chunks out of each other. It really wasn't possible for these two combatants to engage one another in a dull fight. Holyfield, Bowe, okay? Now let's look at these two combatants, right? First, Holyfield. Let's take a look at the real deal first. Okay, the real deal, Evander Holyfield. Now, Evander Holyfield was an all-time great boxer, renowned for his incredible skill, intelligence, and relentless pressure, making him the only boxer to hold undisputed titles in two different weight classes in the three-belt era, and the only four-time heavyweight champion ever. Okay, Ali had three. Holyfield is the only four-time heavyweight champion ever. He was known for his superior technique, intellectual ring IQ, and consistent, powerful rhythm. He is ranked among the top heavyweights of all time by boxing analysts and fans. Holyfield unified both the cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions, winning all the major titles in both classes. His style was defined by his exceptional footwork, head movement, and rhythm, which he used to control the fight's pace and create effective counterpunching opportunities. Holyfield was known as a brilliant strategist who could adapt his style to match his opponents, even outthinking them during exchanges, a quality praised by other great fighters. Holyfield was also known for his ability to take punches and force opponents off balance with his infighting. Many boxing historians and analysts rank Holyfield among the top 10 heavyweights of all time, okay? And he was highly respected by his contemporaries, with many former world champions citing Holyfield as one of the toughest opponents they ever faced. Now, despite his remarkable achievements during his career, Holyfield has felt his accomplishments has not always been given the recognition they deserve. Let's take a look at Riddick Big Daddy Bowe. Okay, Riddick Big Daddy Bowe now. There he is. Okay. Now, Riddick Bowe was a supremely talented and dominant heavyweight boxer in his prime, characterized by his immense strength, power, speed, and excellent ring fundamentals. Though his potential was arguably unfulfilled due to inconsistent motivation and a short period of championship success. Now, he did become a world champion, right? And is remembered for his spectacular trilogy with Holyfield and for his ability to overcome opponents in various ways, including inside and outside the pocket. Now, Bowe was a powerful and physically imposing fighter, standing at 6'5" tall, with surprisingly fast hands and immense strength and power in both hands, okay? And he possessed strong boxing fundamentals, including a great jab, combination punching, and the ability to fight effectively from both the inside and outside. He had a solid chin too, and demonstrated tremendous heart and determination, as seen in his recovery and win over Evander Holyfield in the rubber match during their trilogy. Now, Bowe was a highly successful amateur, winning a silver medal at the 1988 Seoul Olympics, which showcased his early promise and potential. He became the undisputed world champion in the early 1990s. After that, Bowe struggled with motivation and maintaining peak physical condition, which limited the length of his championship reign. Now, that reign was short, despite Bowe having the tools for a long and dominant championship tenure. And he never regained the heavyweight title after losing it to Holyfield. Bowe is considered one of the most talented heavyweights in boxing history, though his full potential was never fully realized. Now, despite not having a long championship reign, his combination of natural talent, power, and skill made him a formidable opponent who could have given anyone a tough fight. Riddick Big Daddy Bowe, okay? So now let's look at this trilogy, okay? Let's look at the trilogy between these two great champions. Riddick Big Daddy Bowe, the real deal, Evander Holyfield. Okay. All right. So I guess we'll start with the first fight. Wouldn't it be good to start with the first fight in the trilogy? Yeah. Bowe-Holyfield won. Trilogy. Monday is Trilogy Day, right? What y'all think? Start with the first fight? Yeah. Okay, yeah, Bowe-Holyfield won. How's everybody this Monday afternoon? Right back at the beginning of another big week of boxing history. On Cat Sports the Box Story, bringing you all that boxing history. Thomas Hill in the building. What's up, T Hill? Bowe-Holyfield Trilogy today. Yep. How was your weekend, Thomas Hill? Good to see you today. Okay, let's get into it. Bowe-Holyfield won. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of time. This is not a real long one, but I had, so let's go. Might get a lot of link time today. Now, Evander Holyfield versus Riddick Bowe was a professional boxing match that took place on November 13th, 1992 in Las Vegas, Nevada. The fight was contested for the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship, which consisted at that time of the WBA, WBC, and IBF championships, okay? Now, the WBO was in existence, but it was not recognized by the other three as a major title at that time. That didn't happen until like 2004, okay? So if you got the WBA, WBC, and IBF at that time, you were undisputed, okay? So this is what this fight was for, those three. Now, on October 25th, 1990, the world's #1 contender, Evander Holyfield, fought Buster Douglas in the first defense of the title that Douglas had won 8 months earlier by upsetting Mike Tyson in Tokyo, Japan. The Holyfield defeated an out-of-shape Douglas by knockout in the third round. And then Holyfield made 3 defenses of that title before he met Bowe, okay? The first was against Big George Foreman, the former champion, who was attempting to become the oldest heavyweight champion ever at that time. He did eventually accomplish that feat, but not in that fight. He lost after winning a unanimous decision over Foreman. Holyfield signed to fight Mike Tyson on November 8th, 1991, but Tyson pulled out with an injury. So instead, Holyfield took on journeyman Bert Cooper and suffered his first career knockdown, nearly losing to Cooper before rallying to knock him out in a fight that the WBC refused to sanction as a title fight. The WBC is always doing something. Anyway, then the planned Tyson fight was scuttled altogether after Tyson was convicted of rape and incarcerated in early 1992. Now, with Holyfield in need of an opponent, undefeated Riddick Bowe emerged as the front runner to land the next shot at Holyfield's undisputed title. Holyfield's manager, Shelley Finkel, and Bowe's manager, Rock Newman, were nearly able to get a deal done shortly after Tyson's conviction, but it fell apart after the two sides could not agree on financial issues. Okay? Now, eventually, Bowe landed a #1 contender fight with Pierce Coetzee, which he won by 7th round technical knockout, earning the right to challenge Holyfield for his undisputed heavyweight championship. Meanwhile, Holyfield took a tune-up fight in June 1992 against another AG former champion in Larry Holmes, right? Although the 43-year-old Holmes had won 6 consecutive fights after recording what were his only career losses to that point, his 85 and 86 losses to Michael Spinks and his 1988 loss to Mike Tyson, right? And he went the distance with Holyfield. But Holyfield won another unanimous decision, okay? Now, he went on to face criticism for taking the title from an uninterested Douglas and then defending it against two past their prime fighters in Foreman and Holmes, while also getting nearly knocked out by the journeyman Cooper, right? So, as a result, some in the boxing world looked at Holyfield's fight with Bowe as a way for the champion to legitimize his reign and earn the respect of his doubters, despite already holding the undisputed title for nearly 2 years, right? But he wasn't getting the respect because, he had fought Foreman first. Foreman was over 40. Then he fought this journeyman Bert Cooper, got knocked down and almost lost, right? And then he turned around and fought 43-year-old Larry Holmes. So Holyfield was getting mad criticism at that time. So the fight against Bowe would finally, a win against Bowe would finally give him the legitimacy that he had been looking for, right? So let's see what happened. Did he get that win against Riddick? Let's see. First fight, Holyfield Bowe won. Now, though he had been a 7-5 favorite coming into the fight, Holyfield had difficulty trading punches with the bigger, stronger, and younger Bowe. Bowe landed 53% of his 248 thrown punches, while Holyfield only managed to land 39% of his 161 thrown. Now, the fight is perhaps best known for his 10th round, during which Bowe started strongly, hitting Holyfield with several power combinations. Holyfield, however, was able to weather the storm and dominated the second half of the round, landing several combinations of his own. Now, Bowe did better than Holyfield in round 11. Bowe hit Holyfield with even more combinations, eventually hitting Holyfield with a right hook before knocking Holyfield down with a right hand to the side of the head. Though announcer Jim Lampley claimed it would seem like a miracle for Holyfield to finish the round, Holyfield somehow managed to survive the remainder of the round. Now, knowing he was behind on the scorecards and would need a knockout to win, they were at 12 rounds by then. The 15-round era was officially over. All championship fights were now 12 rounds. So in the 12th round, Holyfield knew he needed a knockout to win, right? He was aggressive in round 12, but Bowe was able to withstand Holyfield's offense throughout the round and won all three judges' scorecards by scores of 117, 110 twice, and the third judge had it 115, 112, all for Bowe, giving him a unanimous decision victory. Those Associated Press scored the fight 116, 111 for Bowe. Okay. And there's your winner of Bowe-Holyfield 1. Big Daddy, Riddick Bowe. Okay. So the fight was critically acclaimed, winning the Ring Magazine's Fight of the Year, with round 10 winning Ring Magazine's Round of the Year. Only a month later, Bowe would vacate his WBC heavyweight title after refusing to fight number 1 contender Lennox Lewis, after the sides couldn't agree on a split for the fight's $32 million purse. That's when the infamous belt in the trash can incident, y'all all remember that happened. A month after it beat Holyfield for the undisputed title, they couldn't come to agreement on the purse, so Bowe threw the belt in the trash, right? And as a result, this marked the last time that the undisputed heavyweight championship was contested for 6 years and 4 months, until Lennox Lewis and Holyfield met in 1999, right? Now, Bowe would keep his WBA and IBF heavyweight titles, however, and would successfully defend them in easy wins against Michael Dokes and Jesse Ferguson. Now, the WBC would put their belt on the line because they both threw it away, both vacated. And the WBC title was put on the line between Lennox Lewis and Tony Tucker, with Lennox Lewis getting a unanimous decision over Tucker. After much anticipation, Bowe and Holyfield would meet in a rematch on November 6, 1993 for Bowe's WBA and IBF. And the duo again went 12 rounds, with Holyfield winning the victory by majority decision. Okay, so let's go to number 2. Holyfield Bowe 2. Okay. Was it going to be a replay or revenge? Right? Was Bowe going to repeat for the replay of the first fight? Or was Evander going to get his revenge? And I already just told y'all who won. But let's see how he won. I didn't tell y'all how he won. Holyfield versus Bowe 2. Holyfield versus Bowe 2. Come on, Holyfield versus Bowe 2. Here it is. Okay. I knew it was in there. Okay, let's get into this. Revenge or repeat or just replay or revenge? Okay, that was the question. Replay or revenge in this one. Second fight. Bowe is up 1-0 so far in the series. Okay, 1-0 Bowe. Repeat or revenge? Replay, repeat or revenge? Okay, that was the name of the fight. Repeat or revenge was the name of 2. Okay, so Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield 2, billed as repeat or revenge, right? This took place on November 6, 1993 for the WBA and IBF heavyweight championships, which were held by Bowe this time. Last time Holyfield had up with 3-belt undisputed, and Bowe took his undisputed status from him. But remember, Bowe gave up the WBC. He didn't want to fight Lennox Lewis. Okay? So, yeah. I guess you could call it a duck, right? Bowe had the titles and didn't fight him. Though they said it was because he couldn't come up with the purse split. So, but, he threw the belt in the trash. So now he's got the Lennox Lewis eventually won the WBC over Tony Tucker. So this is for the WBA IBF held by Bowe. Now the two fighters had previously met a little less than a year before on November 13th, 1992, in what was considered one of the greatest heavyweight fights of all time. Right? Bowe defeated Holyfield by unanimous decision to become the undisputed heavyweight champion. Now, Bowe's reign as undisputed champion would not last long, as his win over Holyfield meant he would have to make the first defense of his newly won titles against Lennox Lewis, the man who had defeated him at the 1988 Olympics to capture the gold medal. After the two sides could not get a deal done, Bowe chose to forfeit his WBC title rather than face Lewis, throwing the belt in the trash at a press conference. Bowe would then go on to successfully and easily defend his remaining WBA and IBF titles twice, first knocking out 34-year-old former WBA heavyweight champion Michael Doakes in the first round, and then defeating journeyman Jesse Ferguson by way of second-round knockout. Holyfield, meanwhile, would have only one fight between his two Bowe fights, a rematch with Alex Stewart. Now, though Holyfield looked sluggish throughout the fight, he nevertheless was able to earn the victory by unanimous decision. It was also his first fight with his new trainer, Emanuel Stewart. He didn't have Emanuel the first time, remember? So for the second Bowe fight, Emanuel was in Holyfield's corner. On August 12, 1993, the much anticipated rematch between Bowe and Holyfield was announced. Okay, so let's look at what happened. Repeat or revenge. That was what it was dubbed as. Okay. Now, Bowe started off strong, winning the first 3 rounds. Holyfield stormed back to take rounds 4, 5, and 6. In round 7, Holyfield hit Bowe with a right hook, and Bowe responded by throwing powerful combinations, landing several punches in the process. Shortly after this exchange, the fight was stopped after James Miller, the Fan Man, crashed into the ring with his powerful paraglider, causing a 21-minute delay. Yep, that's when Fan Man came in. Okay. Yeah, there he is. Came crashing in, caused a 21-minute delay. Okay. His name was it James Smith or something like that? I just said it. James Miller, that was his name. Fan Man, that real name was James Miller. Okay, so after the 21-minute delay, they got the fight started back up. Okay, after the delay, the two fighters finished the remainder of the round, with one judge awarding Holyfield a round, one judge awarding Bowe a round, and one judge awarding the round to Fan Man. No, I'm just kidding. One judge called it a draw. One gave it to Bowe, one gave it to Holyfield, one called it a draw, right? Holyfield dominated round 8, reopening Bowe's wounds with a 5-punch combination. Now, knowing he was behind on the cards, Bowe became more aggressive in rounds 9, 10, and 11. However, in the final 30 seconds of round 10 and 11, Holyfield hit Bowe with several combinations, winning 5 of the judges' 6 scores for those 2 rounds. The two men hammered each other in round 12, both attacking until the final bell. Like in the previous fight, the fight would go to the judges, this time with Holyfield earning the victory in a close fight by majority decision, becoming only the 3rd man to regain the heavyweight championship from the man who defeated him for it. After Floyd Patterson took it back for Ingemar Johansson in their 1960 rematch, and you know the other one, Muhammad Ali took it back from Leon Spinks in 1978. I did not know that until yesterday. When Holyfield beat Bowe, he's only the 3rd heavyweight ever to take the belt back from the same man that took it from him. And I think, I don't think it's happened since then. Yes, did Andy Ruiz? Yeah, Joshua and Ruiz, right? Didn't Ruiz take the title from Joshua? So that would be, Joshua took it back. So that would be only 4 times that happened from the same man who took it away from me. Wow. And it would be the only loss in Bowe's pro career. Yep, only loss he ever suffered was that one right there. Now, HBO's unofficial scorer, Harold Letterman, had the fight 114-114, a draw. The Associated Press had it 115-113 for Bowe. And the New York Times had it 117-112 for Holyfield. Now, I think if that Fan Man event wouldn't have happened, Bowe would have won that fight. Because I told you, his wife was pregnant. They had to take her out. She fainted when Fan Man came in. Some people seen him coming down and ran out of the building. I would have been one of them. I would have got out of Dodge. This something coming out of the air. They was outside writing this thing. Some people ran. I don't blame them. I would have went for my car, man. Hit the highway. But anyway, let's talk about the Fanman incident. What did happen? In a highly bizarre moment, parachutist James Fanman Miller would crash into the ring during the second minute of round 7, causing a 21-minute delay of the fight. Miller was immediately pulled from the ropes into the crowd by security. It wasn't no security, that was Riddick Bowe's entourage. He was attacked by both fans and security, eventually being knocked unconscious by a member of Bowe's security team. You beat him unconscious. It wasn't a member, it was members. They got that wrong. It was not no member of Bowe's team, it was members. And they beat, I told you, Fanman took the word beating. They beat him unconscious, right? Doc Kent is in the building. What's up, Doc Kent? Bowe-Holyfield today. Yeah, like I always tell y'all, salute Doc Kent. Fanman got the worst beating that night. I told you, Bowe's entourage, right over there where he landed at, they sitting right behind that ring post. And his ropes was draped out of the ring, and they pulled him, bounced him out of there, pulled him over there to them, and beat him unconscious, right? After a short hospital stay, Fanman was then taken to the Clark County Detention Center and charged with dangerous flying, being released after paying $200 bail. The Fanman incident was named Event of the Year by the Ring magazine. Yeah, Fanman won the Event of the Year. Locked him up. He had a $200 bail. Somebody would have got him out just because of what he did and caused. Yeah, somebody would have paid that bail. I wouldn't have known what happened because I told you, I would have been one of those people running out of the building when he came gliding down in there. Yeah, I would have been one of those people. Got my car on the highway doing 100 miles per hour going the other direction. But yeah, anyway, Holyfield won the second fight, okay? Holyfield got that one. And there's the winner of fight number 2. It's 1-1 now, okay? You're a fan, man. Yeah, I told you, Holyfield's entourage beat him unconscious. Yes, he did, Doc Kent. He got the worst beating of the night. Yeah, he got beat into, he was down for the count. He got beat into unconsciousness, right? This is one of your favorites. Yeah, Holyfield was legendary. But yeah, Fanman got the worst beating of the fight. Yeah, Doc Kent knows. I told y'all that many times. The beating Fanman got. He had good aim by landing on the ring, but he landed on the wrong side, right in front of Riddick Bowe's entourage. He should have aimed for that other corner over there. They probably wouldn't have came all the way around there and got him, but people on that side probably would have got it. But anyway, after this win, Holyfield contemplated retirement, but eventually decided to continue fighting and began looking into a potential unification fight with WBC champion Lennox Lewis. However, both the WBA and IBF refused the notion, informing Holyfield they would only sanction a fight with undefeated #1 contender Michael Moorer. The Holyfield was then offered $20 million by Bowe's manager, Rock Newman, to accept the rubber match fight with Bowe. But Holyfield turned down the offer and went ahead with his scheduled fight against Moorer, due in part to both the WBA and IBF threatening to strip Holyfield of their titles if he had accepted Newman's challenge and fought Bowe again. But they did eventually fight, but I don't. The third one wasn't for a title or anything. But anyway, Holyfield went the Moorer route. So Holyfield and Moorer would meet on April 22nd, 1994, with Moorer scoring an upset victory by majority decision. Moorer took the titles, right? Now, Bowe's unsuccessful defense of his championship against Holyfield was the last time he ever fought in a major championship fight. Yeah. He would not return to the ring until the following August, fighting Buster Mathis Jr. to a no contest after he hit Mathis while he was down on the canvas. In March 1995, Bowe won the WBO, which was not a major title at that time. So when I said he never fought for a major title, he didn't, because the WBO didn't become a major title until the early 2000s. So when Bowe fought in 1995, the WBO was not a major title. But he did fight for that, right? Like it was not widely as recognized at that time like it is now. After successfully defending it once, he won that title too. Bowe vacated the title to pursue a third fight against Holyfield, which he won by scoring an 8th round technical knockout. So let's go to fight 3, the rubber match between Bowe and Holyfield. Okay, the rubber match. BBO Sports TV. What's up, nephew? BBO from the Sports Talk Network. Crush the Legend is also part of the great sports. Salute to the Sports Talk Network, everybody. What's up, BBO? Sports TV. How are you today? Okay. Yeah, Doc Kent says he felt bad for the guy. It wasn't his fault. Who, fan, man? How come it wasn't his fault, Doc Kent? Anybody tell him come parachuting in there? It was his fault, Doc Kent. Whose fault was it? Nobody put no gun to his head and tell him come parachuting in there. Yeah, I respectfully disagree, Doc Kent. It was his fault. He should have bought a ticket. But anyway, yeah, let's go to Holyfield Bowe 3 now, okay? This was the rubber match right here. It was 1-1, great trilogy. That one was too. Yeah, that second fight though, that was the only loss that Riddick Bowe ever had in his career. So I'm telling y'all who won the third fight now, but yeah. Holyfield, yeah, that was Bowe's only loss. And that was Fan Man's fault. Because I thought Bowe would have won that fight if it hadn't been for Fan Man. I told you Bowe's wife was pregnant and they took her out of there. Bowe saw it. I wouldn't even have continued the fight. If I was Bowe, that would have been it. We have to continue this later. You know, I'm going with my pregnant wife to the hospital, right? But he continued. Okay. And we got Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield 3. This one was called The Final Chapter, billed as The Final Chapter. Okay, that's what they called this one, The Final Chapter. Now, this was a fight contested on November 4th, 1995, right? This was the only one that was a non-title fight. Remember, the first one was undisputed. 3 belts at that time. Holyfield had it. Then the second one was 2 belts because Bowe threw the WBC in the trash, right? That was after that had happened. Second Bowe-Holyfield fight. And then the third fight, Holyfield had took the belts from Bowe, and he lost to Michael Moorer, right? And Bowe had won the WBO, which was a minor title, and then he vacated that. Yeah, the WBO. So this fight, neither one of them had a title, non-title, but it didn't matter. It was still must-watch TV. This was the final fight in the trilogy, the rubber match. Riddick Big Daddy Bowe, the real deal. Evander Holyfield, the rubber match. Now, after the previous fight between the two, in which Holyfield was able to regain the WBA, IBF, and lineal heavyweight titles by defeating Bowe by majority decision, Holyfield faced undefeated southpaw Michael Moorer at his first defense. Now, though Holyfield knocked Moorer down in the second round, Moorer overcame the knockdown and was able to earn the win by majority decision. And Holyfield retired shortly after the loss, citing a heart ailment that Holyfield later claimed was misdiagnosed. He returned to the ring in 1995 and defeated former champion Ray Mercer in his comeback fight. Meanwhile, Bowe had fought 4 times since losing his title in the second fight to Holyfield. The first fight, he fought Buster Masters Jr., and it was a no contest. He knocked Masters down, then he hit him while he was down, so it was a no contest, right? Normally grounds for disqualification, and Masters should have won. Like, remember when Roy did it, they gave him a loss by disqualification, but they called it a no contest, right? So then After defeating Larry Donald, Bowe won the WBO heavyweight title by knocking out Kirby Hyde. Now, WBO was not a major title at that time. Bowe never fought for a major title again after the second Holyfield fight. After a successful defense of his title against Jorge Luis Gonzalez, Bowe and Holyfield would agree to a non-title rubber match, except for November 4th, 1995, 2 years after their previous fight. So it seemed like Bowe still had the WBO, but it was minor, and they just agreed on a non-title fight, right? And it happened on November 4th, 1995. WBO was not on the line. Okay? So this was 2 years after the second fight. Holyfield did not want to challenge for the WBO title as he thought it would politically hinder his chances of gaining a fight for the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles. He had a point too, because remember Friday, it was the week before, somebody was fighting and they had the WBA, and the WBA wouldn't sanction the fight because the WBO was involved. So Holyfield had a point. If he took that WBO title from Bowe, it might hinder his chances for a shot at the major title. He had a great point. Remember that in the profile a week before last? The WBA wouldn't sanction a fight because the WBO was involved in it too. Boxing politics. So Holyfield had a very good point, not wanting that WBO title at that time. Yeah, he sure did. Had a very excellent point. So let's look at the fight, the rubber match between these two warriors. Okay. Now, unlike the previous two fights between the two, this fight would not go to full 12 rounds. First one didn't go to distance. Instead, Bowe would earn the deciding win by 8th round TKO, becoming the first man to knock Holyfield out, to stop Holyfield, TKO. First man to do that. Now, the fight was perhaps the most brutal of the trilogy, with each man knocking the other down. By round 5, Holyfield, who was suffering from hepatitis A, appeared to be completely exhausted. Nevertheless, Holyfield came back strong in round 6, knocking Bowe down for the first time in his pro career with a left hook to the chin. But Bowe, it went down in the first fight. I guess not. Okay. In round 8, Bowe would return the favor, knocking Holyfield down twice. Holyfield came at Bowe aggressively, throwing a combination at him. Bowe was able to counter with a short right hand that knocked Holyfield to the canvas. Holyfield was able to answer referee Joe Cortez, who also did the first fight. Holyfield got up at 9, but was quickly knocked down again by Bowe, forcing Cortez to stop the fight and award Bowe the victory by a technical knockout. This was the first time Holyfield had been stopped in his pro career. Okay? So here's your winner of the rubber match and winner of the trilogy, Big Daddy, Riddick Bowe. Winner of the rubber match, therefore winner of the trilogy, Big Daddy, Riddick Bowe. Just Do Boxing in the building. What's up, Just Do? That balanced, unbiased boxing talk. Coming up at 4 o'clock, by the way. And everybody gets their Just Do at Just Do Boxing. What's up, Just Do? That's who I'm warming y'all up for. Okay. Just Do Boxing. All right. Yeah, we talking about, this was the rubber match. Just Do in the Riddick Bowe Holyfield trilogy. Bowe won the rubber match, stopped Holyfield for the first time in his career. And he had the WBO already, but it wasn't on the line because it was a minor title. And Holyfield wouldn't sign for the fight if the WBO was involved because he felt it would hamper him getting a shot at the big one, which it would have, because I know a situation where we talked about it last Friday where the WBA wouldn't sanction a fight because the WBO was involved. Most times they don't care about those minor titles. I don't know. They had something against the WBO. But anyway, the way the WBO was formed was through a beef with the WBA and the IBF too, but that's a story for another day. They all had WBA, WBC, then the IBF was formed by a beef at a WBA convention through a beef, and the WBO was formed through a beef. with the WBA, with some other members of the WBA left and formed those two because they had gotten mad in the we might talk about it later. Anyway, the two fighters would head in opposite directions after this fight. Holyfield continued his comeback and knocked out former two-division champion Bobby Chaz in his next fight in May 1996. Later that year, he was contracted to face Mike Tyson. Mike was out of prison then, remember, whom Holyfield originally signed to fight in 1991 before Mike got hurt, and then his rape conviction scuttled the fight altogether. And Tyson had won the WBA over Bruce Seldon after he got out of prison. That Seldon fight was clearly fixed. Mike hit him with a left hook and it went way right past Seldon, and Seldon went down and got up staggering. He should have got an Academy Award for that performance. Yeah, that was clearly fixed. You ever seen that fight? Tyson and Seldon, that was fixed. That left hook ain't coming nowhere near. But anyway, Holyfield signed to fight Tyson for the WBA. And Holyfield scored what was considered an upset by knocking Tyson out in the 11th round, becoming the second fighter after Muhammad Ali to win a heavyweight championship more than twice. And Holyfield is the only one to win it 4 times, right? The win over Tyson marked a resurgence in Holyfield's career, as he would later defeat Michael Moorer to regain the IBF title and eventually become the only 4-time world heavyweight champion before he retired. Because remember, Moorer had beat him in between the second and third Bowe fight and took those 2 titles Holyfield had took from Bowe, remember? Moorer took those from Holyfield. So this time, Holyfield got his get back. He beat Moorer. Meanwhile, Bowe was aiming for a fight with his former nemesis, Lennox Lewis. They did go in talks after Bowe threw the belt in the trash. Him and Lennox did go in talks again. And both fighters had agreed to a fight in 1996, right? And Bowe vacated the WBO title by the end of 1995 to do so, because Lewis, nobody was, if you wanted a shot at the WBA, that IBF, WBC, you couldn't have that WBO because the big three just wasn't fooling with the WBO. So Bowe agreed to take a tune-up fight with Polish heavyweight Andrew Golota, an undefeated but fringe contender who had yet to fight a high-profile opponent. Bowe, disregarding Golota's abilities, came into the fight out of shape and struggled against the undefeated Golota. He remained in contention to win, though, because Golota continued to commit fouls for punches below the belt. That's why they call him Andrew Foul Pole Golota, right? Bowe would eventually earn a disqualification win, which triggered a massive brawl in the ring post-fight. Bowe's overall performance cost him the Lewis fight, and he instead fought Golota again in his next fight. Again, Bowe was outboxed by Golota, but managed to win by disqualification because of Andrew Foul Pole Golota's low punches once again. Shortly after the Golota fights, Bowe abruptly retired and joined the Marines, only to quit after 3 days. He eventually returned to the ring to fight 3 times in the 2000s, winning all 3 fights, and was elected to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Yep. As recently as 2011, Bowe was still discussing the possibility of a 4th fight with Holyfield. However, nothing came of it. Yeah, and I think that Bowe and Lewis, after Bowe threw the belt in the trash, a couple years later they did sign the fight. But what happened was, that was when Lewis got beat by Lewis ended up losing. That's what took the luster off the Bowe fight. They never had it. It wasn't. I think it was Oliver McCall. Yeah, it's Oliver McCall or Chris Brewer. I think it was Oliver McCall. Anyway, Lewis ended up losing, and so him and Bowe never had their fight. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's preview some of the. We're gonna do trilogies every Monday, right? So let's preview some of the trilogies we got coming up. Okay, let's take a preview of some of our trilogies we're gonna have coming up on these Mondays. Okay, excuse me for 1 second, please. One memento. Yeah, memento. I speak other languages. Memento. That means moment. Yeah, momentum. That means moment. Okay, let's preview some of these other trilogies we got coming up. We got some good ones. So far, we did Ali Frazier first. That's the granddaddy of them all. Then we did Gotti Ward, Morales today, Bowe-Holyfield. But let's look at some of these trilogies we got coming up. Make a little preview of them, okay? How about Muhammad Ali versus Ken Norton? We want to look at that one. You know, Ali and Norton fought 3 times, with Norton winning the first fight by split decision, breaking Ali's jaw in the process. Ali won the subsequent 2 fights by split decision and unanimous decision, respectively. He retained his heavyweight titles, okay? How about Duran versus Jesus? Roberto Duran versus Esteban de Jesus. Another one we got coming up. Duran and de Jesus fought 3 times in the 1970s, with Duran winning 2 of the fights and de Jesus winning the first fight, which was a major upset at that time. They handed Duran his first loss as a pro. Now, the trilogy is considered one of the most significant rivalries in boxing history, with the final fight seeing Duran defeat de Jesus to retain his lightweight titles, okay? We're gonna go back a ways for this one. Barney Ross versus Jimmy McLaurin, back to the 30s. Barney Ross versus Jimmy McLaurin. Following his title success, McLaurin fought an epic 3-fight series with Barney Ross. The first fight on May 28, 1934 was won by Ross, but McLaurin regained his title in the next fight 4 months later. Now you talk about an immediate rematch 4 months later, okay? In the rubber match on May 28, 1935, McLaurin lost his title for the final time in a narrow decision to Ross, okay? Another good one we got coming up is going to be Humberto Gonzalez versus Michael Carvajal. Gonzalez versus Carvajal, another great trilogy. The fight between Gonzalez and Carvajal in 2003 became the first junior flyweight fight to ever make $1 million and headline a pay-per-view event. Yeah, those lower weight classes, you had to be really hardest of the hardcores to watch them back then. But they're starting to get recognition now. But back in them, 90s, early 2000s, they weren't getting that much recognition at all. And you get some great fights down there, man. But Carvajal Gonzalez's first fight was the first junior flyweight, that's 108, to make $1 million and headline a pay-per-view event. Both men produced an instant classic, which was repeated the following year. It was Carvajal who earned victories in the rematch and the rubber match after Gonzalez had won the first fight, okay? And we got that one on deck. That's not next week. Next week is going to be when we get to it. I'll let you know. We haven't got to it yet. Another one. All these are great trilogies we got coming up. Tony Zale versus Rocky Graciano. Zale versus Graciano. Middleweight sluggers Zale and Graciano collided in 3 fights in 3 consecutive years in 1946, 1947, and 1948. All 3 of their meetings ended in knockouts, with Man of Steel Zale ultimately running out the rivalry as a 2-1 series winner. The 2 warriors shared 9 rounds full of blood, knockdowns, and brutal stoppage, which remain among the most remarkable among boxing historians, despite the lack of remaining video footage. Yeah, not too much footage of them. I haven't seen any of those, as a matter of fact. But yeah, all 3 of them was knockouts. 3 fights, a total of 9 rounds. This one ended in tragedy here. So we're gonna cover it. Emil Griffith versus Benny Parrott. Yeah, that's the picture right there. Looked like Parrott. That was the 3rd fight. Parrott looked like he already unconscious. He collapsed in that corner and never regained consciousness. Griffith hit him with like over 20 unanswered punches. It looked like, because they had a thing at the weigh-in. Griffith was gay, and Parrott called him a derogatory term. At the last before the last two fights of the trilogy. It looked like Griffith ain't trying to let the referee get through, right? But yeah, Griffith felt real bad about that, and it was good thing a positive thing that came out of it was when Parrott's son grew up, him and Griffith got together. It was really an emotional thing. Yeah, that's a good story. Parrott's son actually met Griffith and forgave him. You know, he said his boxing when he grew up because he was a little boy when that happened, and they got together and met, right? Emil Griffith and Benny Parrott's son, men that died as a result of fighting. So that's a real good story. Get a chance, check that out. Came out of this trilogy. We're gonna cover it down the line one of these Mondays. But anyway, the 3-fight series between Emil Griffith and Benny Parrott are an important part of boxing history, but for tragic circumstances. Undoubtedly, the most saddening of the sports trilogy, Griffith earned a stoppage victory in the first meeting, okay, before Parrott edged out a decision in the rematch. Then tragedy struck in the rubber match. Griffith, who would later come out as bisexual, was enraged by apparent homophobic weigh-in taunts and statements from Parrott in the build-up, right, to the last two fights. That set the tone of the trilogy's final fight as Griffith unloaded an onslaught on Parrott over 12 rounds before the finish came. The badly beaten fighter died 10 days later in the hospital from injuries sustained during the final fight. And I think he went unconscious during the fight and never regained consciousness. Died 10 days later. Here's next week's trilogy right here. Next Monday is Floyd Patterson versus Ingemar Johansson. Okay, that's next Monday. In 1959, Patterson was floored and incredible 7 times in 3 rounds on his way to losing his world heavyweight title to Ingemar Johansson at New York's Yankee Stadium. The dethroned champion remarkably gained redemption the second and third fights, winning both by knockout to reclaim, then defend his heavyweight crown, right? Only one of 4 men to regain the title from the same men that took it from him. And that's hard to believe. Only 4 people have done that. Wow. Get the title back from the same man that took it. Here's a recent one. Well, not recent, but recent. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Yeah. Just previewing some of the trilogies we're going to cover. Fury Wilder. That ain't Fury Wilder. I went backwards. There's Fury Wilder right there. There we go. Yeah. We're going to cover this one. Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Towering heavyweights, Fury and Wilder came together 3 times from 2018 to 2021 to create a great modern day rivalry. Fury looked to have done more than enough on his return to the top level in the first fight, with Wilder, despite suffering a dramatic 12th round knockdown, but it ultimately ended in a controversial draw. This set up a rematch over a year later, which Fury made sure of in devastating knockout fashion, then followed it up with an even more dramatic stoppage victory in the rubber match of their trilogy. Okay? Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran. Yeah, they had a trilogy. I don't know why they had the last fight, but they had it. They were way like super middleweight somewhere. Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran, and we're going to cover it. Now, Duran was probably the most important person in Leonard's career. Roberto Duran is the best lightweight of all time and probably the toughest, one of the toughest fighters of all time. Going into that first fight, Sugar Ray Leonard was thought of as a pretty boy Olympian. But even though he lost, he showed that he was a dog in that first fight, right? And when he went back and watched the fight and saw the mistakes he made, the world saw what happened in the infamous No Mas fight when Leonard evened the series at 1 apiece. In the rubber match, Leonard was older and bigger, but again, Duran couldn't touch him. And Roberto Duran motivated Ray Leonard to turn up a few notches and gears. And even though he lost that first fight to the hands of Stone, Sugar Ray Leonard learned some things about himself that he didn't even know in that first fight with Roberto Duran. Yes, he did. Okay? We just going over some trilogies that we're going to cover in the Mondays ahead. Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. The trilogy between Canelo and Triple G concluded with Canelo winning the third fight by unanimous decision. He shouldn't have had that one either. Let's do call that one very appropriately the pay-per-view sparring match. That's what the title of that should have been, the third fight between Canelo and Triple G, the pay-per-view sparring match. Now, that's what it was, right? Now, the first fight ended in a very controversial split draw, while the second fight was a split decision victory for Canelo. Okay. Another one we're going to cover is going to be Eric Morales versus the Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao. Morales versus Pacquiao. We're just looking at some trilogies we're going to cover in the coming weeks on Trilogy Monday. Morales versus Pacquiao. Now that was a series of 3 super featherweight fights, right? All at 130. With Morales winning the first fight by decision in 2005, Pacquiao winning the second by TKO in 2006, and Pacquiao winning the rubber match by knockout in 2006, avenging his earlier loss. Now, this trilogy is considered one of the greatest in boxing history. And finally, we got more, but finally, that's one for today we're going to preview. Jeff Harding versus Dennis Andres. Oh, I went backwards. I don't know how I keep doing that. Wait a minute. I don't have that one. Who's that? Gaddy and Wood. What is that doing in there? Man. I don't know what those are doing in there, but let's see. Where are we? Oh, I know what they are. Yeah. Okay. Andres and Harding. We're going to talk about what makes a good trilogy, too. There goes Andres and Harding right there. Andres on the left, Harding on the right. Yeah. Now, this one. The Harding versus Andres trilogy consists of 3 epic, hard-fought battles for the WBC light heavyweight title. All 3 was for the WBC title. With the 2 fighters exchanging the championship belt 3 times. Title changed hands in each fight, right? Harding won the first and third fights with late round comebacks and stoppages, while Andres won the second fight in the middle with a dominant 7th round knockout to regain the title. All 3 ended in knockouts. The trilogy is remembered as one of boxing's greatest, showcasing immense courage and resilience from both warriors. Okay, yeah, that's right. What makes a good trilogy anyway? Okay. What makes a good trilogy? And that was our first one right there. We did Ali and Frazier. But what makes a good trilogy? Okay, let's glad y'all asked. Let's talk about it. Now, a good boxing trilogy features highly competitive fights between evenly matched opponents who adapt and learn from each other, leading to compelling narratives that builds respect, redemption, or a clear resolution. Now, key elements of a great trilogy include a competitive first fight, right? Often with a controversial ending or a tie that necessitates a rematch, followed by an all-action second fight and a decisive third fight, right? Where one fighter ultimately establishes their superiority. Okay? Yeah. Come on, what goes into a good trilogy? There are elements of a classic trilogy. Elements of a classic trilogy. Deeply matched opponents. Okay? Now, the boxers involved possess comparable skills and styles, ensuring intense, close-fought battles, evolving storylines. Each fight in the series provides a new chapter, allowing for strategic adjustments, new tactics, and physical and mental growth from both fighters from fight to fight. Compelling narratives. A trilogy creates a dramatic arc over time, captivating audiences and building anticipation for the next chapter. Resilience and heart. Fighters often display immense toughness and bravery, pushing through adversity to stay in the fight and deliver incredible performances, as seen in the Ali Frazier or Gaddy Ward series. Perfect examples. Or Barreras Marquez. We just talked about what makes a great trilogy. A decisive climax, right? A great trilogy culminates in a final fight that settles the debate, often with a clear and definitive victory that resolves the rivalry. Now, why trilogies are so compelling? Intimate rivalry. Now, the multiple encounters allow fans to witness the fighters learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, leading to an intimate understanding of their rivalry, escalating drama. The progression from the first fight to the third can lead to greater stakes, evolving tactics, and increased emotional investment for the audience. Redemption and respect. Trilogies can offer pathways to redemption for a fighter who lost the first or second fight, right? And a deep sense of mutual respect can develop, even in fierce rivalries. Perfect example, Barrera Morales. They hated each other during that trilogy, but now they're the best of friends. They got certain business endeavors going on together. They do a podcast together and got other business interests together. So that's a perfect example. Can start out as a fierce rivalry and end up with a sense of deep mutual respect that developed over the course of the trilogy. And the magic number 3. A trilogy provides a sense of closure, offering enough engagement to truly establish who the better fighter is, creating a tidy and complete narrative. Okay? Yeah, the trilogy. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at some of the pioneers of the sport, especially some of the early melanated fighters from back in the day. But we had time at the end of the show, so let's look at one now. Okay, let's look at one of these pioneers of boxing now. Okay. Ow! Whoa! Yeah. Okay. Man, I just walked into that chair over there. You know what would be a good invention? Steel-toed slippers. I wouldn't have messed my toe up so bad when I hit that chair. Steel-toed slippers. That would be a very good invention. Steel-toed slippers. Steel-toed bedroom slippers. Yeah. And right now, my toe wouldn't be hurting like this. Because I walk right into that chair with these slippers. And it's just like I was barefoot. Yeah, steel-toed slippers. Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about Barbados Joe Walcott. He was Jersey Joe Walcott's idol, right? And Jersey Joe Walcott's real name was Arnold. His government name was Arnold Creamy. And he took Barbados Joe's name. And Arnold Creamy was from New Jersey, so it made it Jersey Joe Walcott. Okay. So let's talk about Barbados Joe Walcott today, right now. And that's him up there on the screen. Now, middleweights other than Sam Lightfoot, there were middleweights like Stanley Ketchel and Bob Fitzsimmons who battled giants. But if you're talking about a true little man, there was a fighter around 1900 who was 6 inches shorter than Sam Lightfoot, only a hair over 5 feet tall, yet who terrorized big men on a regular basis. From the early dawn of modern boxing, his name was Joe Walcott, the original Joe Walcott, also called the Barbados Demon, or Barbados Joe Walcott. Now, through the decades, since they plied their trade in old sawdust floors, the ring was made of sawdust, right? Fighters and boxing historians have whispered the names of men like Sam Lightfoot, Mickey Walker, and Jimmy Wald, who cheerfully fought men 100 pounds heavier and never backed down from any man. Yeah, that's why they made weight classes, to stop that sort of thing from happening. But nowadays you got these weight bullies, you know. It's still happening. Fighters fighting people weighing 50 pounds more than them and nonsense like that. Get rid of these weight bullies. But second only to Sam Lightfoot as the greatest of them all, forgotten by time, might be the first Joe Walcott, born 147 years ago, a fighter so great that Arnold Cream took the name Jersey Joe Walcott to honor him, right? The Jersey Joe we talked about in the Fight of the Day. His government name was Arnold Cream. But he got that Joe Walcott from Barbados Joe Walcott, and Arnold Cream being from New Jersey, Jersey Joe Walcott, right? It ain't rocket science. And Jersey Joe Walcott regarded the original Barbados Joe Walcott as the greatest fighter who ever lived. The original Joe Walcott was born in British Guyana, but spent most of his early years in the Barbados before moving with his family to Massachusetts. Now, how did Walcott get into boxing? Walcott was evidently quite an adventurous young man. As a teen, he decided to travel around the world and got a job as a cabin boy on various ships. He arrived in Boston again in 1887 and found work as a piano mover, porter, and jack of all trades. But it was when Walcott got work cleaning a gym that he found his calling. Fighters training there liked the young man from the islands, and he talked his way into being trained for free. He turned pro in 1898 at a relatively old age of 25, but he quickly made his mark as an extraordinary, powerful hitter, right? Now, like all melanated fighters, he found it hard to get a title shot, but he finally landed one 3 years into his career and held the title for 5 years, right? Walcott was the world welterweight champion from 1901 to 1906, becoming the first melanated fighter ever to capture the welterweight title, okay? He was elected to the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1991, right? Second year. I don't know why he didn't go in on the inaugural year 1990. That's crazy. But Barbados Joe Walcott had the power to beat heavyweights, proved by his first round knockout over heavyweight Tom McCarthy. Walcott fought several other light heavyweights and heavyweights, though he himself never weighed more than 140 pounds for a fight, right? Fighting heavyweights. Never weighed over 140. Now, Walcott's manager, Tom O'Rourke, was also the manager of heavyweight contender, Sailor Tom Sharkey. Now, Sharkey had the distinction of twice going the distance with heavyweight champion Jim Jeffries. According to boxing historian Nat Fleischer, O'Rourke is recorded as having said about Walcott, "I had to stop Walcott from sparring with the Sailor because Joe dumped him on his ear one afternoon in the gym." Okay? He had to stop this welterweight from sparring he managed both these fighters, but he didn't let his welterweight spar his heavyweight no more because his welterweight kept dropping the heavyweight. I guess they didn't want that embarrassment. Plus it was melanated. So he said he had to stop them from sparring each other. The Nat Fleischer in his book, Black Dynamite, Volume 3, records O'Rourke is also saying, "A sawed-off Hercules, an abnormally powerful puncher. Men who fought him were sorely handicapped, for all his opponents were taller, and their blows usually landed on his shoulders or on top of his granite skull. Probably more men ruined their hands on Walcott than on any other scrapper of that day, of that period." Walcott at his peak issued public challenges to light heavyweights and heavyweights, and incredibly won his share of fights against opponents who routinely outweighed him by 50 pounds. Wow. Routinely outweighed this man by 50 pounds. Now, Sam Langford and Walcott fought to a draw in 1904, with Langford saying in later years, "Walcott was the only man remotely close to his size who was stronger and hit harder than he did." Now, though Walcott was more experienced than Langford, at that point in their careers, the original Joe gave 15 pounds, 6 inches of height, and 9 inches of reach to Sam, and still fought him to a draw. Okay? 15 pounds, 6 inches shorter, and 9 inches less reach, and still fought him to a draw. Just think if everything had been even, he probably would have dog walked. Wow. On November 10th, 1903, the 5'1" Barbados Joe Walcott fought 6'3" Sandy Ferguson, giving away 68 pounds, 14 inches of height, and 14 inches of reach in a fight the Police Gazette thought Walcott won. Walcott fought the heavyweight again in 6 months, and this time battled him to a draw, which he probably won too, right? Because a lot of times back then, if the melanated fighter won, they would either give him a loss, or they might, if you're lucky, they say it was a draw, but they wasn't giving him the win, okay? So they said it was a draw, really said he won the fight. And again, this man outweighed him by 68 pounds, was 14 inches taller, and had a reach was 14 inches longer. Wow. And he fought into a draw, so he beat him, really. Draw is code word for winning the fight, you know, back in them days. Anyway, for the melanated fighters, it appears only just that the original Joe Walcott came up with the timeless saying after one of his victories over big men. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. That saying is credited to Barbados Joe Walcott. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. They're right around the turn of the 20th century. Now, playing with firearms cost Walcott his career. Sadly, Walcott effectively ended his great career, though he fought on for almost a decade, when after a fight with the great Joe Gans, he accidentally shot himself in the hand, mangling it and losing several fingers. A right-handed fighter, the injury was on his right hand, although he still fought 10 years after that. And Walcott tried to take time off and recover, but it put an effective end to his years as a world-class prize fighter. He still fought, but he wasn't top level anymore. And this happened, though he continued to fight until 1911. The destruction of his dominant hand finished him as an elite talent. Yeah. Finished him off as an elite talent. That happened right around, I don't know exactly when that happened, but 19 still fought for 10 years after these things. Now, Walcott made a great deal of money from the ring and lost it all. He ended up working as a custodian at the old Madison Square Garden. Death was as strange as his life. Okay? Walcott supposedly died at age 62 on October 4th, 1935. He had been reported missing in December 1935, right, by his daughter after her father left on a trip to California to find work. Walcott reportedly had been last seen around Mansfield, Ohio. It was later reported he died in a car accident in Massillon, Ohio. The story as related to historian Ned Fleischer, was that Walcott was walking along Route 30 in the village of Dawson, Ohio, and was hit and killed by a car. His body went unclaimed, and the village of Dawson buried him at the edge of the cemetery. There's a small grave marker that someone put up reading, ex-world champion, Joe Walcott, 1827, 1935. Wow. 27, 33. Yeah, that's 68. 68 years. Yeah, I was adding it up. Yeah, we're going to be talking about some of these pioneers at the end shows and stuff like that. Okay? From now on. Each day. Today was Barbados Joe Walcott. Yeah, that's him up there on the screen. Barbados Joe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a great champion. I told you, giving up 14 inches of reach. IRA. What's up, IRA? In the building. Salute. Like and subscribe, please. I'm like 40 away from 1,000. Almost got 960. But salute, IRA. Good to see you today, my friend. How are you? Okay, let me see. We've got like 15 minutes. Let's see if we can get a little link time in today. How was everybody? That Tellez upset. Ooh, that guy. I can't remember his name. I think he was German, right? The guy that beat Tellez, and he just. I thought they were going to stop it in the 12th round. But Tellez, he was fighting back. So you got, let the man go out on his shield. He was fighting back. But that guy was just dropping them bombs on him. And they just wasn't no taps. He was, He was dropping some serious damage on him. Yes, he was. But overall, a good weekend of fights. We got Canelo and Bud coming up soon. Less than 3 weeks. Less than 6 weeks. 3 weeks. Yeah, less than 3 weeks. Yep, coming up right up to us. So all the talk is just about over, right? Time for action. We will see, like Richard Pryor said, we will see. We will see. I got Canelo by decision. Canelo never really been a knockout guy. He got like a 60-something knockout ratio. But he got 63 wins, 39 knockouts. Yeah, I think he's 63, 2-2. Had like 67 fights. Yeah. So yeah, I think say he been stopping nobody late. He really never really, not really. That's 61.9%. Barely 60% knockout rate. So yeah. So and that ain't stopping him. No way. What's up, T Hill?
Oh, you know you got the best hand, Cass. You tell me.
Oh, I'm just chilling with the boxing talk, man. That's all.
Man.
How you doing today?
Oh man, just a little bit active on these panels early in the morning. I had been in prior times. I had a whole bunch of stuff going on, man. So I didn't have much time to get up on this thing.
Yeah.
But I got a little time today, so I've been talking.
Okay.
Talking, because there's a lot to talk about, man. So
what's going on? What they still on that Tank thing?
They're gonna forever be on that Tank, and with good reason. I mean, honestly, Tank held to a different standard.
Yeah.
And Tank has this aura about him that people who even claim to be unbiased and strictly for the integrity and the love of the sport, they gonna dump on him. And it's really because when you think about the PBC, you think of fighters. You don't really think Al Heyman. So the hate that they have and been programmed to have for Al Heyman is what they take out on their fighters.
Yeah.
Tank, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't agree with the fight. I don't. I understand why he's taking this fight because I believe he's seriously about to get paid like a lot of money, more money than he's ever made. And you know his biggest check is like 50 mil. So you know he's about to get more than 50 mil for this. So
and that might not be there if you don't take it now, T. You know.
Well, I don't think it will be there because honestly, I think that the time frame, the window of opportunity for Jake Paul, he's gonna and he's using this to transition his money behind his program, his platform, so that he can actually do more for fighters, especially the women fighters. So he can only take it's only so many people that they're gonna tune in and watch, and there's only so many people that he's gonna actually fight that won't buy into the stuff. Like I for the life of me, Tyson, he had to sign an NDA. Now Tyson ain't in shape to go X amount of rounds, but he's in shape enough to clock your ass one good time early on in the fight, and he was holding back. Kaz, you can't tell me if you saw that fight you didn't see him holding, pulling punches.
Yeah. I knew before the fight what that was. You know.
Yeah. So you know that right there. How bad of a look would it be for him to get sparked by Tank Davis? Now, if he gets knocked out, that means he's no longer doing any more exhibition fights. So there won't be no Canelo. There won't be no AJ.
None of that.
There won't be no Wilder. You get in there with a Wilder or AJ, I think both of them, even if they sign that thing, will try to spark you.
Hey, did this go on their records? Tyson went on the records, right?
Yeah, I think Tyson went on his record. I don't know if it went on Tyson's records. I think it's exhibition. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. The competitor in me and the fan in me don't really recognize this as a boxing match. It's sort of an exhibition. And if it's an exhibition, I've seen fights with him and they look scripted. I've seen one person go off script. Well, actually, I've seen two people go off script. I've seen the Fury go off script. And I seen the freaking last round of the Julio Cesar Chavez go off script. Because in that last round, that dude looked tired the whole fight long. But in that last round, he was beating the dogs out of Jake. Letting him be known, if I really wanted to beat this nigga, I could beat this nigga.
Right.
Because he's a decent fighter. He's gotten some skill, but man, I mean, even as garbage as we view Julio Cesar Chavez to be, he's not on his level, bro. Not at all.
Tommy Fury beat him. Come on.
Yeah, Tommy Fury. Oh my God. So I ain't gonna spin on it. So yeah, I don't like to fight. I believe that there are fights out there that he could be taking that would definitely still get him money, not to that level, but will get him money, and that it would definitely force niggas to rearrange some of their narratives that they got. But the greatest thing about it, and this is what I hold to, is that it brings a greater market value to him after the fight. It puts a spotlight on boxing during the fight, and it proves to the fact that nigga can get in the ring. So because he ain't never said it, but he gets applied to it because of people use other folks to hate him and him to hate other folks. So they say that they really attacked in the fan base. Now they attacking him. They love to attack him. The numbers shot up because of that. Damn. I went to somebody who averages 50 to 75 people on a daily basis. Them niggas has 700 people in the chat. And it's because they hate on Tank on a regular basis. So they couldn't wait to hear how they were going to hate on him now. But that being said, it shows that he can get in the ring with people much bigger than him. So I expect, or I hope, I won't say I expect, but I expect that, it will not be a problem to get in the ring with Devin Haney, saying you don't retire. If you don't retire, if Keyshawn is at a higher weight, him. Shakur is at a higher weight, him.
Yeah.
Tio's at a higher weight, him. Whomever that, because those are the words. Those are the fights that, people want to see. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with people being upset with it. But the thing is, like, there was opportunities for other folks. They would take the same opportunity because that's a chance to never have to worry about things in life ever again after that, as far as when it comes to monetarily speaking. So, if that is the course, so be it. But man, it's something to be talked about. The other thing is Bud being a sellout. Bud is a sellout because he's going to work with Canelo to not only get Canelo prep for a fight.
What's up?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Boots. My bad. Boots is a sellout because he's going to work with Canelo. Also, Yoeli Hernandez is too, and Benavidez, who everybody loves right now, man. And Valsain as well too. Benavidez got his seasoning from working with elite fighters. Mm-hmm. How are you upset because somebody wants to build their craft?
That's good for Boots too.
And get paid doing it. Yeah, he's getting paid for it. And he's getting valuable experience. Man, go run a water with some bubbles and a duck. Yeah. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Cass.
Yeah.
Salute to my good brother Cass and T here. And appreciate y'all and everybody in the chat that's rocking out. I gotta say this though, I know it's hard to say, not to say fight, but this is an exhibition. This is not a fight. So,
Jake Paul.
Yeah, it's an exhibition. So that means that it's going to be, it's going to be differently formatted. So I'm not expecting Tank to knock Jake out. I'm not expecting Jake to knock Tank out. Based on it being an exhibition, it's like kind of like a showcase. Something like that, just something to galvanize the fan bases. And the only thing I say to that, T Hill, is if Devin Haney or any of these bigger guys want to sign up for an exhibition with Tank, I think that might be the best route.
Wow, I've never heard that before. That's interesting.
Nah, there's no exhibitions between them. Jake Paul, because this is a spectacle. That wouldn't be a spectacle. That would actually be a match. And like I said, I've always maintained that I didn't care how big certain fighters got, that Tank can get in the ring with them. And he doesn't have to be at the same size as them. And Floyd Mayweather fought constantly at bigger people than him. And he never got to the size that they were. But he got to the size that was comfortable for him. And that's all he would have to do. But I mean, I've always stood on that.
I'm in agreement. It's I don't know, man, because for a long time, it was kind of Leonard and Mayweather. They were kind of we were understanding that that Tank was signed, and there's a certain way that Floyd and Leonard wanted to move him. So now we see that, I don't know, it's still there. It's still prevalent. It's still present. We're not getting a rematch with Lamont. We still haven't got Shakur. Of course, Devin, he grew out of the weight class, so I'm not really concerned about that. But it's the thing about it is this, and it's prize fighting. So a lot of people are not gonna get mad at Tank because they understand it's still prize fighting.
Right.
I'm not mad at Tank. Tank can do whatever he want to do. It's just that I still want to see movement and activity at 135. So I just don't want anybody, like I want Lamont to fight, I want Shakur to fight, I want Abdullah to fight. All these guys need to stay active. And Mr. Gary Russell, they can't wait on Tank because Tank has got to a level where he can do a Conor McGregor type exhibition in the middle of his career while he's holding a belt. that's when you know you big time.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I hope. I hope he do this. I hope he comes back.
But that's why I said hope. I hope. Like if he doesn't retire Cass, if he don't retire Cass, then and he continues to fight. I hope that because honestly, when he was given those list of names, it was when Devin Haney had 2 fights past 35, and he still said yes. So I believe firmly that with this fight, you even if it's if it wasn't an exhibition, I still believe Tank would win the fight because I just don't think that highly of Jake Paul's skills. All he got to do is make sure he don't get caught with something flush. Right. And I don't think he doesn't set punches up. He could see every single punch. Like I say, just go back on half speed and watch the Lamont Roach fight. Stuff that people was cheering for was barely grazing or touching in some certain cases. Now, he did get hit.
That's a fact.
In boxing, you do get hit. Because ain't nobody, not including the great my man Pernell Whitaker, he got hit. And I don't see nobody today with his elite reaction skills to fighting. I mean, to punches and things like that, to fighters setting up punches. So if he can get hit, anybody can get hit. Everybody does get hit. And, there is the possibility that he gets hit. It could do damage because that's a big dude he getting in the ring with that hits much harder than any person he's faced, at least in the ring. I won't say sparring, but that being the case, man, he don't set up no damn punches, dog. So I don't think he's landing nothing flush.
T Hill, respectfully, I'm under the. I believe Tank could trip and fall for 10 rounds and beat Jake Paul. Jake Paul, for one, he's not gonna have the foot speed to close the distance on a Tank Davis, or the hand speed to land on him. He also is not a combination puncher. He's a novice in the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
So I mean, understand we giving him a size. The size advantage is what everybody is a little bit concerned with.
Right.
But like Coach Kenny will always say, height don't fight.
I don't.
So all I'm gonna say is this: Jake Paul, he's lucky that it's an exhibition, because if it was a real scrap, Tank would break this dude down and hurt him. I mean, because people don't understand the sports. Like, he's a bigger guy, but he still got to land that power. And what happens when he's swinging and missing, and then he gas out?
He exposed himself, and he leaves himself open. Agree, man. That's why Oh, go ahead, Kaz. My bad. Go ahead.
Just say those counter punches would be what would get him in a real fight. Would be Jake's downfall.
Man, listen, I could see Jake shelling up against Tank. Tank. See, this is what people underestimate about Tank. Tank. I don't know. People quiet as kept. People kind of losing sight because of the Lamont fight. Tank is really cracking. But the thing about it is, of course, like anybody, he has to land. And Jake is going to be there for Tank to land. This is not a guy that's been boxing since he was 6 or 7 years old, like a Lamont Roach, an actual world champion. This is a guy that's been boxing for about 3 or 4 years now. So, like I was saying earlier, it's good. It's an exhibition, respectfully.
Yeah.
Well, last thing I will say on this, man, is regarding to what you said, the size disparity. Anybody remember the damn Logan Paul Mayweather fight? Yeah, you saw how much bigger Logan Paul is bigger than Jake Paul.
Yeah, he is.
You know what I'm saying? That dude looked like he was his daddy in the ring, down to speak. I hate to say it that way, but he looked that much bigger than him. And he was getting carried that whole match long.
I know.
Right.
Because just a superior skill set. Now, I'm not a fool to say Tank Davis is Mayweather. But Tank Davis in this stage of his career is a lot more youthful and more exuberant in that ring, and still has the ability. Now, never mind the freaking Roach fight, because he didn't set nothing up. He just stood there and winged punches all night long, for the most part. But he could set punches up. He can disguise movements. He didn't do any of that. He wasn't doing much fainting in that fight or anything. He just was sitting there just banging, throwing punches, not setting stuff up. He getting there with the ring like that. And if it's a real fight, he don't want to get sparked. No matter what nobody said, they don't want to get sparked. Mm-mm. And he know this big dude can spark him if he lands something. You think he gonna let him hit him with something flush? Nah. And neither did Floyd. Floyd didn't let him hit him with something flush, but when Floyd hit him, it had an impact. Why? Because he knows how to throw a punch correctly. He knows how to set a punch up.
Mm-hmm. He had to hold him up.
He had to hold him up, bro. He had to hold him up, bro. That's why you know. That's why, you know, it's funny that, you know, we even talking about this BS, but it is something that, you know, unfortunately, like he said, he's at a level where he could be sought out for a money grab. And this is exactly what it is, a money grab for Jake Paul too. Jake Paul using this to invest in his business and all his other businesses. And we gonna kill, because like somebody once said, I forgot, it was on the show where somebody said, in a hair salon, they were talking about this fight. And this is people who do hair. Right. You know what I'm saying, man? They ain't really into the boxing like that.
Tank made brothers getting hair done infamous.
Hey, as long as it's 2 days ago. Just remember, it got to be 2 days ago.
So you already know. I mean, the shorties want to know what's going on with Tank and Jake, as well as the fellas. So this definitely gonna galvanize the sport of boxing.
I will agree with that last part. It will galvanize the sport of boxing. I'm really not interested in, man, because I know there are other fights that he can make that definitely can also galvanize the sport. But I understand that, hey, if it's Kaz, you offer me a chance to make excess of $40 million.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because I may never see that opportunity ever again. We're never promised the next day. Jake Paul don't know if this will be his last day. This might not be his. He might not ever be able to get somebody in the ring that will bring eyes like that. But while we're hot, and how we continue to fund what we're doing to keep funding everything else I'm trying to do, I need something that's big. Mm-hmm. That whole thing with Mike Tyson. Think about that. That was Mike Tyson, some 60-something-year-old fighter. That shut everything down. Why? People know Mike Tyson out of shape, but they know that if he hits your ass one good square time, you going down. And Jake Paul really not that like that. So let's see if he really like that. Let's see. And you're hoping that Mike Tyson will be invested. Now, I believe things are scripted. And I believe this likewise will be scripted. There will not be an attempt to hurt somebody in this fight. I don't believe so. But if it was an attempt to hurt somebody, I believe Jake Paul will be on the short end of the stick of that. And how would it look that some little ass nigga, some dude that because the size difference is going to be even greater than what it was with Logan Paul and Mayweather. Yeah. How would it look to be getting sparked out by a 5'4" dude, 5'5" dude?
MVP.
6'2".
Yeah, that would be bad.
Keith said MVP wouldn't let that happen. But I mean, that happens every day on the street. I've seen little guys knock out tall guys.
That's
you got to understand your distance. And all you need is timing. But if Tank really wanted to, he could stop Jake. But like you saying, T Hill, I don't think it's gonna get to that point.
It won't get to that point, man, because Tyson could have. You saw that fight.
That's a good point. I saw Tyson doing some good work early, and then he kind of just faded, and
then you saw him have him lined up and hold the punch. I seen that. He was backing up. You see the ring right here on the screen? Can you see the ring right here on the screen?
Yep.
You see where the person to the right on your screen is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see that rope to the right? Yeah. Mike Tyson was pushing him towards the rope. Jake Paul had swung and left his ass wide open. Mike Tyson was right there ready to shoot that right. He cocked back, and Jake Paul looked like right on this right rope over here. He looked and said, "Oh my God," because he knew if he would have threw that punch. You laughing, B3? I'm being absolutely serious. At that point, that was in round 3. At that point, I said, "Oh fudge."
You knew what the deal was. I
know what the deal was. It was further corroborated with the way Julio Cesar Chavez looked like he was fighting for dear life for breathing in that fight. And then the very last round, he goes out there and puts on the clinic on Jake Paul. Crazy. Come on, man. Like, nah. It can't be. He can't be taking L's like that. The only one who bucked the code was your boy. He was like, "Man, I don't care. I'm gonna show you you're not like that." And he's just garbage. He hot dumpster juice. But he still was able to beat him, and he beat him very convincingly.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say this right quick, man. Y'all know we love the sport, and we support most of these guys. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say something a little controversial. I wish these guys weren't big enough to legally bank rob us.
I agree with that.
These dudes are way too big. We got way too much love and admiration for these guys. Floyd and Tank and Jake. They, like you're saying, they can put on these little gimmicky situations, possibly scripted. Like, you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of unfortunate that we are that invested that they could they gonna watch us regardless.
No facts.
Remember?
Yeah, he definitely said it. He showed it though. He showed it, but see, the thing about Floyd is that Floyd capitalized off of everything, and then Floyd fought people who people wanted to see beat him.
That's right.
That's the key to making the bread. Tank is in a very, very luxurious position because he has people who believe there are fighters that will beat him, that he really ain't as good as what his record has showed or what his fights have produced. And Lamont Roach wasn't an aberration. That was the actual standard. And all he has to do is fight with them. And Lamont Roach having that performance and him performing like he did against Lamont Roach was the perfect storm for him to go on and capitalize on everybody because everybody feel like he's chump change. Mm-hmm. Now, people who know. And like I said, man, I'm not going to go any further into that fight or this Jake Paul fight. But if he can take advantage of it, and then go back and fight those other fights, all is well. Because he not only made money that, you probably couldn't get fighting some of these other competitions, but now you even make more money fighting these fights in competitions. You know what I'm saying? Because now people really going to want to tune into you because, hell, niggas is going to tune into this fight just because, hey, it's Jake Paul and Tank Davis. It's David versus Goliath. Oh, he got another fight? Oh, he's supposed to be good? I gotta see that.
Come back and work on his legacy. You'd have made the money with Jake,
Well, Kaz, I'm gonna say this, and I say this with all respect too. With all respect.
Yeah.
The legacy thing is what you leave behind to your family. and that's truly your legacy. I mean, in sports,
wishful thinking. He would come back and give us some of these fights, but
Yeah, but see, that the thing is, legacy would have had us with that Boots versus Norman fight.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because if it's so, 1.8 million ain't nothing to sneeze at when your biggest purse to date was 90,000. But because he had a belt, it gave him legacy bargaining power. Yeah. So like, if you really want this, you're gonna have to pay me. Why? Because what if I take this fight? And what if it's a bad look? Mm-hmm. Bad looks get people no longer good fights anymore these days, especially with the advent of this phone and social media.
Yeah, it wasn't always like that.
It was not always like that. You could take a loss. You could even take a bad loss and people would tune in to you. But now they want to discard you. They want to call you trash. Yeah, and that's never been the case.
Never.
It's still
Never.
Go ahead, Bieber.
Go ahead. No, what I would say is this. I mean, I feel like it's an element of that, but it's also just a lot of people trolling because you think about it. He got beat pretty bad by Ryan, but everybody's really anticipating Devin versus Norman. You see what
Hell
I'm
yeah,
saying? So
because they want
that's
to.
the 100%. They want to fight. They want to scrap. So, like you saying with Tank, if he comes back to big time boxing and gives us a scrap, all is well. But let me
Yeah,
say this
that's
to you
right.
too:
Yeah.
if he retires from boxing as well, all is still going to be well.
For sure.
You feel what I'm saying? Now it'll be people will be a little frantic and upset for a few days and say, well, he didn't fight this person and that person in a few days. But as you know, time will move on and people could still remember the good moments. You
For
know, the
sure.
sparking guys out.
For sure. And there's always been fights throughout the annals of time where you didn't get that you would have hoped. I wanted to see freaking Sugar Ray Leonard and Aaron Pryor. I wanted to see Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see another. I wanted to see another fight between Hagler and Hearns, a healthy Hearns. You know, I wanted to see another fight between Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard because I thought he got jobbed. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it is what it is, man. The thing is, I don't hold anything personally to or against Tank because Tank is his own man. And Tank has always been forthwith about where he saw himself in boxing. This is an opportunity for me to pull my family out of the madness that life has put upon or placed upon us. And he's always like that's the one thing that I rock with him more so than anything. Like I said, I rock with all these young brothers. I've never rooted against none of these young brothers. I root against the nonsense and I root against them sometimes being dishonest with their words.
You're a boxing fan. Yeah, you're a true boxing fan.
You know what I'm saying? I am. And that's why this I don't really like talking about. Now, that's why I don't like talking about the fact that somebody's a sellout because they're trying to work on their seasoning. They're getting paid and they're learning valuable experience from it. But because was Bud a sellout when he didn't choose he chose to take? Remember, he was in the contract with Spence to fight. He pulled out that fight and then fought Evan Evening.
Yeah,
you know
that's the sport, though.
Yeah, Bud wouldn't even say, but that's the fans saying that dumb stuff.
Yeah, that's the sport. No, I'm gonna say this: Bernie the boxer definitely was calling him. He was
Bernie and Bud too. Bud responded via social media.
Oh, they okay. Well, I don't go ahead, Cass. You about to say
something? Did Bud say something about it?
I think he responded by social media. I think he had a tweet or some stuff like that about him going out there and working with the enemy and some stuff like that. You know, just to create more buzz and attention to the fight.
Boots and Canelo ain't Boots. Boots ain't fighting Canelo.
No, Boots out there getting his experience.
Yeah,
Boots is getting valuable experience, and on top of that, he's getting excellent work and paid. Because nobody is getting hit on their head or in their gut
for free
for something they could do punching a clock at a 9 to 5. They're doing it because the benefit may far exceed, you know, the stuff I got to endure. And there's no chance that I go to a 9 to 5 and I can get a check for X amount of time of work that can exceed what I can get for this. And they're hoping to get there. Not everyone gets there, but there is that small percent that does. So they're hoping to become that small percent. So they take up this sport hoping that they become this small percent. They're doing it for money. They're doing it.
They definitely doing it for money, T Hill. And did y'all see that little bruise that Canelo had on his eye, or right below, like between his cheek and his eye?
No, I didn't see that.
I kind of.
Yeah, when they in the picture, and Boots looked a little happy, like he looked a little excited in the picture, in a sense. And you know, he was kind of and Canelo had a little bruise on his eye. I don't know if that was Yonelli or Val Saint, but the way Boots looking right now, not cutting weight, Boots is a big boy.
Yeah, Boots is huge, bro. Man. He is huge.
Yeah, everybody said he'll probably be at 168 in that range for us all said and done. Maybe higher. Yeah.
See, bro, all I ever do is hold people to the same standard and measure people at their word. And I'm gonna show you case in point right now.
Yeah.
The narrative. Tank is a duck. He's always been a duck. Okay, here's the word. I never had interest in making a fight with Floyd Mayweather and TBE, whatever they promotions with Devontae Tank Davis. That came straight out of the freaking source's mouth. Never at no point in time. Yet he ducked a long time ago because of some bullshit that Floyd being Floyd said aloud to spark some fire between his fighter. You didn't hear Loma say there was never a time where he was interested in the fight, and if we would have fought, it would have made sense more so when we were both at 30, which I don't know if they ever both were at 30, but when he was at 30, he was a seasoned vet, and your boy was coming up in the ranks. I don't even know if he had a belt yet, but that lets you know it never really was something that they had ever actively tried to pursue or went to negotiate. Then when it gets negotiated, he fully pulls out and they blame Tank for the pullout. You know, I don't say this, then there was this. And I'm saying this with all assurance. That boy know not to get in the ring with me. That boy scared to get in the ring with me. He know that I ain't playing with him in the ring. That boy ducking me. Then next thing you know, we get a leak of an interview, and then he ain't ducking, I ain't ducking. He ain't scared of me, I ain't scared of him. That fight's gonna happen. It's just gonna take a little bit longer than we expect. Why? Because when Loma pulled out, you were approached for a possible fight. Now, it wasn't what you was wanting, but it was a possible fight. Now, you said prior to that, any opportunity I get to fight Tank, I'm gonna take it because I know he is the A side. I know he is the big fight. But then you had that opportunity and you didn't take it. Why? Because it didn't agree with you, just because of that one thing. What happens if I don't look good in that fight? I don't get a chance to run it back and I don't get nothing else. I might not ever get it again. And I'm going against my guy who is promoting me. There is so many things that people say and do that don't measure up. But that if you look at context of things, you can see that, hey, it may have been true. Didn't say it was a contract, but there was an approach. You said any type of attempt, you're going to jump on. Do I call him a duck? No. I wouldn't take a fight where I don't think I can get full vindication. I don't take a fight where I don't feel like I'm prepped. Later on, you hear another interview. I would fight Tank, but I want my hands to be right. We come to find out in all his previous 8 fights, man's ain't been right. So you use inductive and deductive reasoning, and what do you get? He wasn't ready to take that fight with him. Man's ain't been right. So No, that was echo, but that's all I say, man. You know, and I'm done with it because I don't think these people ducking. I just don't think it makes sense for them. Now, what we're seeing right here, I can't even explain. I won't even begin to explain other than the fact I know that he's going to get a whole lot of money out of this. So he's going to take whatever is going to benefit him and his family. I just hope that, like he said, he continues to push for those fights and get those fights made so we can see that, so that everybody who had something to say, throw some shade on him, can find something else, some other way to hate on him. Win
you know
or
what,
lose.
though? The word to use, the fighters avoid. I won't call them duck, but fighters do avoid, you know, for whatever reason, you know. But not duck.
Hell yeah.
Well, and I want to say this too, because even with the Tank taking the Jake fight, he has representation that are not going to allow him to miss out on that opportunity as well. And counterpart to that, as we can see, some of these guys' representation are keeping them away from certain fights. I think it's pretty much kind of prevalent in what we're seeing with Virgil Ortiz. How long? I mean, how old is Virgil Ortiz, and he never fought for a world title or an actual world title? You know what I'm saying? So all this time, so we gotta call a spade, man. This is about money. And these guys' representation are the ones that are making these fights. Let me ask y'all this: who's making their own fights in the sport of boxing?
Canelo would be the closest thing.
Okay.
Canelo would be the closest thing that I would say. If he is, if anyone is, it would be him.
Yeah. So that's
Jake Paul's
probably
another
one
one.
person. Jake Paul,
Jake
because he's
Paul.
on promoter.
He's on promoter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got
Those
two.
are the only two people I could see that saying they're making their own fights. As big as Tank Davis is, he still is tied to someone. That's why I feel that he said that one interview after the fight with Roach. He said, I made a promise to Al. Whatever that promise was has to do with this fight here.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I thought he said he promised Al that he wasn't going to be fighting after this year. They was going to be done. That's what I thought he said, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't you hear that, T. Hill?
I heard it didn't make sense what he said. I thought I heard that too, and then he came back and did another interview where he said he made a promise to Al and he gonna hold up to that promise.
Okay.
So, but he did say, "Yo, I still want those other fights." So, like I said, I don't know, and like I said, I don't pretend to know. I don't presume to know. I don't presume to say that what I want should be what he do. I don't presume none of that for none of these fighters. But I would love to see. And I hope that he does go beyond this fight. And if it is a Mayweather fight down the line and a Pacquiao fight, that there still is at least the bare minimum 3 of those other 6 fights that he had said he wanted before he got up out of there.
Yeah. Let me ask y'all this. You think we're going to get a nice undercard for Tank and Jake?
Absolutely.
Nice undercard.
They have to be.
And I'm going to go. I want to talk about some names with you, Cass, on the undercard. But can y'all answer this? Because I don't know this. Kun Kao, he's asking Oscar De La Hoya only got accused of avoiding Winky Wright. Is that true?
Only got who now?
Oscar De La Hoya. The only person he avoided was Winky Wright.
I didn't even know he avoided Winky Wright. I thought he fought everybody, to tell you the truth. That's one person I saw. But he could have been. There was a lot of people who didn't want to fight Winky Wright.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That made it was a lot. But let me say this. I really, to be honest with y'all, I really would love for Clarissa to be on that undercard. I know that's she may not do it because it's Tank and it's because of exhibition, but I think her versus Shadeja Green would be a great fight. Of course, the Layla Ali fight is probably a little far fetched at this point. But and I'm gonna be honest. He said a little. Well,
I said it would be more lucrative.
Yes. Oh, extremely. 100%. But it's funny. Layla was kind of popping at the gums a little bit. Her fans was, saying this, that, and the third. But now I feel like they're giving her an out. What y'all think about that? Y'all feel like Layla kind of got an out, or do y'all feel like, she been out the ring 18 years. It is what it is.
No, I don't feel like she got out. I feel like she set his term. See, this is the thing about that one, P3. I don't know how Cass feel about that, but if you're given a baseline, why choose the bottom end of the baseline? Why not, if you really want to fight, why not come up with the top end? So she said 15 and 20. Why not? If I really want to fight, and if I can come up with 15, why not get 5 more million? Hell, there's a lottery out there right now. Pay somebody to tell you what the numbers is so you can get a piece of it. You can just get like 4 numbers and, you can get your money back. I'm saying right now.
Like 4 numbers in the Powerball get you $1 million.
You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is if you truly want to fight, because you probably not going to like me on this take, bro, but I honestly believe that Layla Ali was more than just a pretty face. She was hella skilled in that ring. And her skill was separating her from her time, the people that she fought. Now, I believe the same can be said of Clarissa, but that Laney Daniels fight showed me that, she wild with her punches.
Yeah, she also had somebody in there that wasn't looking to win, though, T. Hill. So that maybe that's something to consider.
Hey, I guarantee you, she could have cut that ring on her. She could have got her at least put more paws on her. I don't believe she can get people up out of there because she just don't sit on her punches or throw a punch correctly. But she could have beat on her all night, but she didn't cut the. To me, what Boots did in the first fight with Kuka Dajin is what she did with Laney Daniels. But there were times where they were together and in close proximity, and she was swinging at air.
Yeah, I don't see Layla with that type of movement that Lonnie Daniels. Lonnie Daniels not on that level, but that would be a completely different fight. And defensively, Layla's different. Layla seemed like she was more straight up and down to me. I think, just watching some of her past fights, T. Hill, it's the level of opposition. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see that they was on her level. They didn't really give her much resistance. And even like her biggest fight, the Christy Martin fight, that was a tough watch. You know, she dominated. She's a little Christy. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I've seen Layla is cracking, and that would be that could be the deciding factor if she was conditioned enough, if the split, if
See,
she was able to stay in. You know, that's the thing, the conditioning, right?
that's the thing. That's the thing right there. She is older. She's been out of the ring for as long as she's been in the ring.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'm just going and just looking at the resume though, T Hill, this is a different era. Like Clarissa really fought all of the top girls that's the title holders and things like that. So it's kind of like it's hard to parse because Layla, she was like, I believe she held one title in one weight class. You know what I'm saying?
It
So
wasn't
it's
very
just a
many
different
titles
era.
at the time.
Just a different era.
Yeah, it was, and it wasn't very many titles at the time because remember they were just starting up. She also didn't have the advent of going through a system where they let women participate in amateurs as well too. I mean, there's a lot of things that factor heavy on both sides to weigh the argument. The thing to me that's most striking, and I don't use it as an excuse because Layla popped her gums. Now, if you gonna talk, you get up in there and you bounce. That's the thing that I hold people to what they say. Bump what everybody else is saying. What you say. You said if the right number comes in there, you get in the ring. If somebody contacts you. So in order to make this card bubble, because you got to remember they used that Serrano Katie Taylor fight rematch to make that Mike Tyson thing bubble, right? And people really came to see that fight.
That's right.
They just brought more people to the party with the ticket that said Tyson on it.
Yeah.
That just brought everybody there. But this is who we really came to see. So now
that's the real fight.
That's the real fight. And the whole undercard was like to your question. The whole undercard was lit because we're bringing audience here to see people. I want to big up the people that I got on my roster, so I got to make sure these fights is right.
Yep.
So he's going to get that, but then you get one more caveat. You get Serrano versus Katie Taylor too. Exciting.
Yeah, that sold it.
So,
for sure.
So, like you said, I would love to see Shadeja in there with Clarissa.
Now, this is in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I tell you how it's going. Undercard going to be right there. But go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to see your girl on the Clarissa on there with Shadeja. But if you really want to make it pop,
it's in the
then you offer her 30 million. Because she asked for 15 or 20, 30 million. Can you get ready by this time to fight this person?
Yeah.
People
I guarantee it's going to be a big women's fight on that card. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, that would be huge.
Be some big female fight on that card. What?
They gonna it's gonna be Alicia probably because she's or Katie Chantel rematch.
Have them all on there though. Yeah. Have them all on there because not only are you big up in boxing, but you're big up in your marquee brand, women's boxing. Have every single hitter you on there with every single. There's a fight for Alicia that can be made. Hell, you know who she could really fight? She could fight Katie Taylor or she could fight Amanda Serrano. That would work.
They could sales pitch.
You know what I'm saying? They just got
she can do a Leonardo to rematch.
Think about that.
Yeah, you're right.
All-star female undercard.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And then on the prelims, you can have all your prospects on there. All your men prospects on there. Everybody's getting the look because they're going to want to tune in because you got not only Tank versus Jake Paul, the spectacle, but then you got a match for the ages with freaking Clarissa and freaking the GOAT battle. The GOAT.
Not to cut you off.
Go ahead,
remember the guy that called Tank out Saturday? Said Jake got him first? I bet you he'd be on there. When is it? When is that fight? Does he have time to be on
that? I don't know the guy you're talking about. You know who he's talking about, Tia?
I forgot his name. He beat
Who'd he beat?
He beat the old guy, Roger Gutierrez.
Oh, you talking about Lucas Body?
Oh, Body?
Body will be on there.
Yeah,
of course.
Would that be November? Him to be on there?
Yeah,
he'll be on that card.
He's gonna be him versus Floyd Schofield
on that card, right?
That's the fight right there.
you put him on the card too.
Yeah.
You put you.
Tank out.
I don't know what happened to Ashton Silva. I think they fell out. But he would have been somebody that would have been perfect to bring back on the court.
MVP said he was never signed.
Oh, he was never signed.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. They got to find the right fight for you, and they ain't gonna really put him back in there with Lucas.
No, not with Lucas, but I hope they wouldn't do that because I think he would learn from that fight. He was beating the dog slap out of Lucas until he got too comfortable. He was out there trying to showboat, trying to get his boots on, and got clocked. That
wouldn't be a bad rematch for that undercard. Now that I think about it, hopefully Ashton is active though. I don't know when the last time he fought.
It wouldn't. That other brother that they had on that card just did this week. They could put him on.
Yoenis Tellez?
Yeah.
I didn't see the fight. Did you get to watch it?
Oh man.
I watched the highlights. I didn't see the fight, but in the highlights, that brother was beating on him, bro.
For real?
He was beating on him,
bro.
Dog.
I thought and Tellez, they was moving him. He didn't beat J-Rock? Wow, he jumped right on him.
Right on him.
Wow.
Stayed on him, man.
That dude
dropped him.
So he beat him that bad?
Yeah.
He was beating on him. I
gotta go back and watch that.
You gotta watch it, bro. Cause
see, that goes to show you. But I want to know what happened to Tellez if he was training, because I don't think he was with Ronnie Shields for this camp. I didn't see Ronnie Shields
either. But on top of that, I don't believe he thought somebody by the name of Bowe or whatever his name was. Abbas Baru was gonna be somewhat of a problem. See, he didn't respect it. See, then that's the thing. I know when you don't take a fight serious, that can happen.
Absolutely.
I know that from another fight, but I'm gonna leave that be. But it was part of the reason why the fight turned the way it turned. You got to take this stuff serious, because if you don't, look at what happened. He didn't take Rolly serious. He lost the fight. Devin didn't take Ryan serious. He was allowed to get some stuff to come at him and hit him that he wasn't ready for.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And if he did, it wouldn't have turned out that way, no matter what type of stuff he was on.
Absolutely. Nah, Devin still could have won that fight.
Devin was winning the fight.
Yeah,
and he was winning the fight.
But the thing about it is they didn't make any adjustments after they seen that he was winning. It was no need for him to continue to try to step on Ryan or knock him out. He was trying to land big shots.
Yeah.
A lot of single shots. He wasn't cutting off the ring. He was kind of following Ryan. It was nasty.
The thing is, you said training. See, the training, I don't know who else was in that corner, but somebody that was in the corner spoke out about that and said, yo, we should have easily won that fight. And I agree with him, because what he saw is what I saw. The thing that they was timing, if you go back to the visuals of that fight, before they even took the ring, they segue always to that corner and what they're doing before the preparation for it. In the corner of Ryan and EJ, you see him working on timing that jab. That's all he was trying to do. Time that jab with that check hook. Time that jab with that check hook. Right. It kind of hit in the first round, but after that, Dev had calmed the waters and he was out there coasting. But in the 7th round, it hit. And when it hit, there was no contingency plan. There was no contingency commentary in the corners after that. And it just became, all right, bet. Well, if you going to slug me, I'm going to slug you. And that's when the heart in Devin came out. So, like, dog, I'm shook, because I'm really still kind of rocking. I don't know what the fudge is going on. But I know one thing. I ain't no punk. Bitch.
Well, the thing about he was caught off guard, see here. He wasn't expecting. See, the thing, even with the commentary, he said, and even after the fight, he's saying, I never expected a fighter like Ryan to beat me, or even to do that with me. So they thought they was having an easy cherry, and Ryan had another thing coming. Ryan juiced. Ryan cheated. Purposely missed weight. He did all of that. So, like you're saying, is you can't take your foot off. You can't take your eye off the ball, even if you feel like you got a cherry in there. You can't. You still can't take them lightly, you know what I'm saying? And when when Devin got in the fight, I thought he was well conditioned, because you see he didn't get knocked out. I thought he was. It was just that the mentality, he didn't make any adjustments. He didn't respect his opponent, and I think that hurt him.
That totally hurt him. He didn't take it serious. He thought it was a joke. Even the bet on the freaking thing was a joke. I'm not about to bet with you, dog.
That you gonna miss weight and then he gonna purposely miss weight and y'all gonna bet on that? Come on, man.
He thought like I said, because he looked a certain way towards Tank, he figured it was gonna be easy work because Tank ain't really like that. Tank ain't like that.
No, he quit versus Tank.
Yeah, he quit, but
so he definitely ain't. We lost. We all lost respect for Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan made a business.
But to the Tank's credit, he did smack Tank with his best punch 3 times, and it didn't do anything. So now, if I'm hitting you with the punch that drops everybody, and it don't drop you,
right?
And I made a mistake, and you put me on my tail, and now you tuck me to the body, I ain't got a chance to win this thing, and I don't want to get sparked out. So it goes back to what I said. People, the reason why that damn Boots fight didn't happen, because what if I get sparked out? I'm really essentially a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
If I get sparked out, I never. You said what? Would you
Your market value is definitely
it's compromised in this time and age. It's significantly compromised. Yeah. I believe that, and then your way you react. Yes, I'm sorry. What you say, Cash?
I was just agreeing. Like the way people are now. You hit one bad knockout, that's it.
It's it. And we done seen throughout the test of time, people take some bad losses, come back and give somebody a bad loss. You know what I'm saying? So with Devin, the look had him even questioning himself. That's why we saw that fight we saw in there with Ramirez. Hey man, we don't want to take a chance on anything, bro. Let's just go out here and coast.
But another thing is, I found out through Norman Sr. really on with Tate Jones. So Devin has signed a 3-fight deal for 36 M's. So for that, that's what people are saying right now. That's kind of being talked about. Of course, we know he had the Jose Ramirez fight. He had the Ryan fight, which was going to be big money, and then they had like a rematch, depending on how that second fight played out or whatever. But he was still locked in with Turkey for 3 fights. So that I believe led him to fight the way he did. I don't believe he was gunshot or anything. I just feel like with the stakes being so high, to give Oscar or anybody, any ammunition, like to get hit with anything from Jose Ramirez, you don't want to lose any rounds. You see what I'm saying? I just wouldn't play around with Oscar. Already kind of pulled one over on him. I just feel like that with the game plan, they didn't want Jose to touch him with anything. They didn't want any type of issues with the scorecards.
Nah, I believe that. I believe that. But this is what I will say, and I will have you to be honest with me on this one. Have you ever seen that nigga that wide-eyed in a fight when punches was coming at him before?
No, that was different. I think that was a big difference. But needless to say, Jose Ramirez. Well, I'm gonna say this.
Punching.
He is punching. I think he can hurt you, especially with that left hook to the body. He can hurt you.
Nothing. He didn't do nothing in that fight that would signify to Devin that he could get hurt. Not at all in that fight. Did he even do anything that signified? He looked like he was a step behind Devin the whole damn fight. But Devin was worried that if that thing did connect, I don't want that look again. And that was the thing that he was battling. To me, that's what it looked like. He was battling, and that's why he fought that way. More so than anything. He didn't want to mess up any opportunities. He didn't want to mess up no bags because, unfortunately, the way
Ryan messed it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they ever wanted to fight Ryan again, to tell you the truth, bro. I don't believe so.
No, I don't think Ryan ever wanted to fight Devin. That's a fact. I
don't think Ryan wanted to fight Devin neither. I don't think Devin really wanted to fight him.
The thing about it is Devin agreed to it.
Yeah,
Ryan, Oscar. Yeah, they already set it up, but of course Ryan lost. But the thing about it is Oscar was saying that they didn't need the rematch. Oscar's the one really didn't want the rematch with Devin.
You know what? Oscar definitely don't want the rematch, but I'll tell you what, that still can happen. And I don't give a fudge that he lost. That's a fight. I would rather see that fight more so than this Norman fight, but this Norman fight just happened to conveniently be something that they can replace it with, and it still be something that people want to see, because people want to see trust and believe there's a lot of people out there that don't like Devin. So they want to see him get sparked. And they believe this dude is the guy that will do it.
Yeah, that's why it's such a big fight. And it's kind of like these guys ducked out of the way. Where's Ryan and Teal? They kind of moved out of the way, and Haney is still at the forefront taking on the tough fights. Maybe they trying to let the black fighters or African American fighters knock each other off, so they don't got to fight all of them. It just looks. I thought the sport was about the green print, Mexican and black. So where's Ryan? Where's Tio? You know.
So let me elaborate.
Devin, well, of course, he got to be the one. Well, I just think it's
let's
like
tackle
this.
it then. Let's tackle it then. Where is first and foremost Tio? Tio is still contractually bound to your boy.
So Bob.
Right.
Yeah, and him and Bob, they don't see eye to eye together, right? Bob had one fighter in particular that was worthy of every bit of marketing, not get marketed and walk away. Guess what he walked away with? The belt.
Secure,
Bob loves belts because belts mean we can get more people to our thing that's coming up and coming. Right. So he not letting T.O. leave with that Mickey Freaky belt. So he's going to sign off on a fight that's going to get him the opportunity to transfer that belt back to top rank. So he can't
the 140 title.
Yeah, that 140 title.
That's why I'm thinking they're gonna position Keyshawn at 140. Now, if Tio doesn't fight him, then of course he'll fight for a vacant.
No, if he don't fight him, they're gonna make it mandatory. They're gonna make it mandatory for one of his fighters to fight him, and if he decides not to fight, they're gonna strip him and they're gonna award that person the belt. They're not gonna let that belt go because he covets belts and he needs belts to attract attention. That's why he's out there doing what he's doing, because he can't fight nobody. Because Bob ain't signing off on no itch that's gonna let that belt go somewhere else. No, you laughing, Kaz. I'm dead serious.
Nah, you right though. Bob, no, that's currency in the sport of boxing. Like that.
Say it again.
Belts are currency in the sport of boxing. Or Kaz said it's always been like that.
It's always been like that. You always make more money when you get that belt, right, Kaz?
Yeah.
So why would he allow money to go away?
Yeah,
That's why people want belts. And the more belts you get, the more money you get. But if you're someone that they rock with you in spite of as many belts you got, you just need to have the belt to continue to make the money. And that's why that fight didn't happen for $1.8 million. And I don't care what nobody say. I know the two offers that was after the $1 million offer was nonsense because it was already ordered to a purse bid. And they went to YouTube to try to build traction. But he said it a long time ago. He said, I want to attach my son's name to somebody bigger so I can build my bubble, my buzz.
Oh, you talking about T.O.?
No, T.O. Now, T.O.'s a different sort. T.O., like I said, he's stuck in purgatory. I was talking about the fight that Devin's about to fight. I was talking about the Boots and Norman fight that they was trying to go. All that was to bring more. The boy had never made more money than 90,000.
I know.
Yeah, the thing, I bought into the argument though, T here.
What argument was that?
The fact that for one, top rank, they still getting 20%. So that's probably the same with Tio. So whatever Tio's purse is, he don't want to pay Bob his 20%. For his promoter's fee, right? But ultimately, with B. Norman Jr. being a one-time champion at 23 years of age, got the $2 million or $1.8 million to fight Boots. I don't think they saw the upside in it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you beat Boots and knock him off, you on top of the world. But I mean, you've been in a ring with Boots. So y'all already know what time it is. So I think they used that his age, the fact that he was, all the percentages that he'll have to pay his manager and promoter, stuff that all fighters got to do anyway. They use that to kind of circumvent, and which I understand it from a business perspective, but the competition aspect of it is just unfortunate that we didn't get to see that Norman Jr. versus Boots.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but I think that all that stuff that they used to leverage, the one thing they used was that belt, because that belt was something that they could do. But to me, at that point in time, they didn't want the fight. And on top of that, the second and third offers, they couldn't even get the fight because at that time the purse bid had been offered, and they knew this. They 100%. Knew this because it had been explained to them. They still went out there and did it. Why do that? Because you wanted to look a certain way, right? Mm-hmm. When you know it can't happen, but you still go out there and talk.
And then that mandatory return came up too, remember? Wasn't that around that time? Wasn't that around that time when the mandatory return?
It was ordered. Yeah, it was ordered. And because it was ordered, they couldn't entertain it unless Karen was going to take step aside money, which he said he's not.
Right.
So that fight was already in, and they were sitting, him and Eddie Hearn going on YouTube having talks. Nigga, what talks happen on YouTube?
Yeah.
Would that lead to a fight?
The only talks that I seen with the Boots and not the Boots and
the Norman and Devin Haney.
Norman Devin Haney. Yep.
And I'm gonna tell you that because rocking our place, ruffled feathers. I gotta get something.
Yeah.
Devin talking this way, Bill Haney even talking heavier. Okay, we get a bite. Now we got something we can hang on to.
Yeah.
10 million plus per fight. That's a good purse.
Can't beat it.
You cannot beat it. And
I'm not and with no pay-per-view, you don't gotta sell no pay-per-views. Shoot.
I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. So bravo to them, kudos to them. Now he got to get back in there and train, and he got to have his mind right to fight. Because if he have his mind right to fight, I feel like he's gonna walk on this dude. I don't feel like he got. The only way he does is if he don't got his mind right. Because it's hard to be active and try to stay away from somebody when they're really coming after you to prove a point. So he's gonna have to go on and be what he was in that night against Prograis. Yes. Confident in himself and his ability in that type of shape, using his skill set. Mm-hmm. If he does that, then I don't think that Norman can beat him. I don't believe it.
I got that one.
And the only thing I'm gonna say is that I've been watching Norman Jr. and his level of conditioning is extremely high.
Yeah, it is. Oh, he's hungry though. That kid, he want to prove himself. And I say that when I say he didn't want that fight, they didn't want that fight. I don't believe they wanted that fight at that time. But they needed to look so that they can get the buzz behind him because they was getting better. He is getting better fight by fight. Mm-hmm. But if you take that fight and you get sparked out, chances are because they were fighting on events that were lower than Pro Box, dog. What am I going to get now?
He biting off too much now. Too soon.
But now that I build it up, I can make
too much for him right now. For Norman right now.
Definitely can be
in the right headspace, but
the right headspace.
Yeah, because the right
headspace. He could be. And I'm hoping that he comes in with the right headspace.
Absolutely. Now, with all that being said, headspace, we're talking a lot about his performance against Jose. And he did accept the Norman Jr. fight, who's looking like the hardest puncher right now, 147. I gotta ask y'all this, and what's y'all thoughts on this Boots offense? They was gonna fight Boots as well.
Yeah, that was me. I apologize. I was drinking water.
Oh yeah.
I thought I was on mute. My bad.
Okay. What's your Cass, I gotta ask you, what's your take? It's a little feedback. What's your take on like and then this everything? Like, we talk about Devin's headspace and the Jose Ramirez performance, Cass, but and T Hill, but then they come back, they sign to fight Norman Jr. They offer Boots. Like, what am I to think of this? Like, what y'all think about all this?
With the
I'm sorry. Can you tell me the question one more again?
Just about like Devin, like coming off of the Jose Ramirez fight, going right into Brian Norman, but they also Boots. It's like Bill can't get him a hometown fight. Is his star too big, or he has to fight the top guys in the sport, the top names? Because it seems like other guys, they could stay busy fights or whatever the case may be, hometown fights.
No. It's exactly that, and I'll tell you why. Because of Bill himself. I'm telling you, they've ruffled feathers in the people who put on the fights. And because he is not the person that can make his own fights, he has to depend upon them to make the fight. So now, because they done talked heavy on folks and they have done business the way that they done, kudos to getting them to where they are, because they done took care of their family through this. But now it's going to be hard going forward, because now they're going to only put you in fights that are difficult and in venues where it ain't ideal for you. So yeah, I believe totally that's what it is. I believe that, you know, these fights that he's going to get, they're going to be difficult fights. He's not getting no stay busy fight. But he also said, you know, he was ready for all the smoke, and you know, he gonna get it. So I believe, you know, they gonna purposely try to give that to him. Just and I ain't thinking Turkey for them people. I don't think Turkey really particularly care for them. So he's trying to pay to see them get hurt, so to speak. I want to pay to see him get knocked out, and that's why that fight is taking place.
Dang, that's a great. I thought it was Turkey's boy. See?
Only boy that he has that I believe is the dude that he got up on the damn canvas for and said, "And you down."
Oh yeah, Hamza.
That's
See, that's I don't know. See, I don't know the culture, because I know that Bill and Devin are Muslim. They're practicing Muslims.
Right.
But is there, you know, kind of how unfortunately there's a separation between, they say, like blacks that were born in America versus Africans that come to America, or, you know, Dominicans, you know, people not born in America that look like us. Like, is there maybe some bias there? I didn't see it, T Hill, but I definitely understand that Hamza is.
I mean, but you got to be a host at the same time, bro. But I think that, you know, for them, Islam is a way of life. It's not something that you practice. It's something that you live out. We view it as a practice. They view it as a way of life.
Yeah.
So now when you're having it as a way of life, and everything you do, it has to exude it. And there's some times where you look at Bill, say what Bill's saying, it don't exude.
Right.
Islam.
That's their whole life.
So if you're talking about somebody who is an avid practicer, and then there's a person who is avidly living it, they're going to take that as an offense. I don't know if that's the case, but I do know that the way that he speaks and carries himself kind of rubs the guy the wrong way. And whoever's fronting the cash, if it is actually somebody over him that isn't you know, they don't. That's why they're not making no women fight. You notice there ain't no women fighting on them cards. Oh, especially over there.
Yeah,
it might be one over here, but
the fact they ain't put Larissa on the card. Yeah, you got to go.
They ain't none over there. They don't believe in that.
Because they definitely could have did what MVP did, all the money that Turkey been putting out.
You ain't gonna see no women fight over there in Saudi Arabia. No way. They don't believe in that.
You know that's right, because remember they was about to kill the one girl that was gonna fight for their country.
Yeah, they don't play that.
They had to get her up out of there because they was gonna kill her and her family.
Like B3 said, they might put one on the card in Vegas or something, but not over there.
Oh, I'm sorry, unalive. I shouldn't have said that. Unalive. I apologize about that.
No way.
I'll make them not be that much of a presence.
Now, so, but this is still going to be I think this is going to be a big fight card. Now, do you envision, like Tank was really concerned about fighting in Saudi? I think there was an offer. It was some discussions. I don't know where they went as far as the finances go. You know, the $20 million guarantee came out, and then Bill was saying that was just the starting point or whatever the case may be. I'm sure there was discussions, because when Tank said it, he said that if Devin your guy, you got to pay me more. You know what I'm saying? So I believe there is going to be a level of favoritism. It's obvious, man.
It's obvious for that one fight that I was talking about. That boy lost that fight. Now he was winning the fight early on. He was doing fantastic.
That dumbass, yeah.
But he started losing that fight towards halfway part, and then it just was, you know, it was a point where he was down 2 on the card, and still he lost those rounds afterwards, and he had a draw. So, you know, there shows some kind of favoritism. Now, that being the case, Much like the thing with the grease in the eye deal. I rock with Tank, but I seen a man and a woman fight with blood letting into their eye. Chernika, what's her name? Sugar Cheeks. Yeah, her, when she got a headbutt and the blood kept flowing in her eye and she fought. And then it was two men. I seen your boy that used to be with Mayweather, Badu Jack, and I seen your boy Katsuzu's son, Tim Zoo. Yeah, Weeks was wrong for that. And Tim Zoo, and they were wrong for letting him continue, man. That boy lost so much blood, it wasn't able for him to be at his very best. On top of that, it was running in both eyes. So I'm never gonna use that. You took a knee that could definitely be called a point for that. And then likewise, you stuck your head outside and got some attention. That could be a freaking disqualification. Now, will they do that? Nah, because it'll be all pandemonium baking out in that dang building. They can't have that. So they definitely wasn't going. What's the name now? The onus falls on the referee. It falls on the fighter himself, and then it falls on the officials that are outside that are with the body and the sanctioning of the bout. They all could have said something to make sure that point, if they choose to deduct, be deducted. So that's just far beyond the ref. And the ref had a legit question, because I'm gonna tell you why. The fact that the punch grazed him on the opposite side, the braid popped him in the eye, and he immediately grabbed the eye that got popped by the braid, shows that the punch didn't have no thing, but you did take a knee. So there got to be either reason for you not calling it or calling it. And he explained that to him. Now, that wasn't good enough for folks, because folks want to see him lose. They thought that would have been the reason for him to lose. Yeah. I'm not going to say anything about that, because that's how it could have gone. And more times than not, that's how it does go. So he was fortunate in that regard. So, for him to say all that stuff about getting a break and all that other stuff, you gotta take that with a grain of salt too. Would he be at a disadvantage? Maybe. But I'm a firm believer that, it doesn't matter if they got the advantage or not. When you on top of your game, you make it happen. My man, and I'm not a real big proponent of it, but he was down all 12 rounds. That boy needed a 12-round knockout, even though he was winning the fight. And when my man, what's his name? Kaz, the one that fought in Mexico and almost got robbed. Shacky Foster. Shacky Foster. When Shaq needed a knockout, he had to get that knockout. Otherwise, they were going to take that fight from him. Because it happens. It definitely happens. And it happens everywhere. On every format, through every single promotional entity. Tank had his entity included. So, I don't want to hear none of that. But the thing to me is that the way he was contacted, in the manner, and then, it was condescending to Tank, I think, when he was talking to him in the DM about it. Just like it was with Eddie Hearns approaching him in the DM about it. Like, Tank is big on loyalty, but above everything. That's why I got a problem with Shakur, because he thought that they was cool. He was looking out for him. He was advising him. Matter of fact, he was telling him, like, bro, if you really thinking about going here, I would advise against it, man. Do more about himself than about his fighters. So go this way or go that way. And then come out there and say all that stuff when you think you cool, man. When you done put up on game. So that's why it's like that. And then it becomes every fight I have, when I'm focusing on this fight, you're talking about this dude. So it gets a little bit redundant over a course of time, and then you start getting skewed by it. But for me, I'm never going to let people or other folks determine how I feel about another person. They got to show me that whatever they think is true of them is true with me and their relationship with me. So I don't never go by what other folks say. But if he really truly wanted that fight, there could have been a way to go about it. He could have approached Al and say, hey, look, Al, talk to your boy. Tell him, hey, look, man, we got money on the line for this fight over here. And give him your endorsement. And then there probably would have been a different outcome with that. Yeah. But I think the freaking two Ferraris, that was just tongue-in-cheek type reply.
That's all.
That first one, but the second one after he talked to him and realized that, oh, you really favoring Devin, then it got serious. He
Yeah,
like, oh no, I can't play around with this guy because he gonna give me a loss.
even that though, B3. I mean, think about it. When have you ever heard Tango at Devin or Bill?
Just on, I guess on Twitter a little bit or whatever, but
At
I
the
mean, it's
reply, right?
usually a response.
It's a original retort. He had him coming at, he had Devin, who don't, I mean, not Devin, but Bill, who don't even be in the ring, come at his mama, his dad, his coaches, Al Heyman. And Al Heyman is somebody that's big in his life, like somewhat of a father figure to him. So, you know, he get a little tender. He get a little tender at times. Now, I don't condone getting tender, but he human. We all human. There was a moment where I let some outside influence how I talk to you one day. I was out of line for that. I was out of line. And that's why I apologize for it, because that shouldn't have been ever the case. But sometimes it be stuff that be weighing on your conscience, and you be going through some things, and then you hear one thing, and it's like tick, 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 boom. And unfortunately, he's a tick, 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 boom. He internalizes things.
That's a fact.
Until it's okay, now I got to reply. And when I reply, the thing with Terrence Crawford, he didn't go at Terrence Crawford, but Terrence Crawford went at him and then talked about his girl. He's having problems with his girl. So what does he do? All right, nigga, so you want to go low? I'm going to go even lower. That's not cool. But when you're doing it, you got to expect that people might do something like it. Now, I don't condone it. I don't even approve of it, but that's the streets. He come from the streets.
Yeah.
Everything. Go ahead, man.
Even with that, no, you good. But even with his representation, right? Al Heyman, he got Benavidez on the zone with Turkey, and now Tank is with Netflix. We haven't heard of any like upcoming schedule. I'm kind of concerned. I'm like, what's going on with PBC and Top Rank? It's like, I don't know if they working behind the scenes to set up a Prime deal or what. Like, what y'all thinking like that? Are y'all concerned Al may not be around right now based on like not having the dates? I mean, Arrow hasn't fought, Jermell ain't back. Are they working on a new deal? What's y'all thoughts?
I don't know.
So for me, I have privy to some information with concerning Al. As we all know, Al has been dealing with his mom's health. You know, that's old earth, as Wu-Tang and them call it, old earth. Mom, she brought me into this world. She birthed me. She sprang life out of me. So he's more focused and dedicated to making sure everything is going right by her in her days, more so than anything else. Now, I don't know who he has that is actually delegating.
Real quick, have you heard anything about his health as far as Al Heyman?
Now, I heard that his health is good, other than the fact that, now, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that it was good, other than the fact that, you know, he has to worry about his mom and the way she is, because, you know, that's always a concern when, hell, if you lose a dog, it hits you hard. So you know, when your mom ain't doing well and you thinking about that probably will take a little toll on your health and your well-being. But I know that, you know, whatever has got it, I don't know if he's as active as he's had been in brokering and getting things done. But what I would hope, because he's such a brilliant financier and negotiator and someone who can put together plans for other folks, that he would also teaching some of his other folks that have been around him to do so that the company will be in good hands if he has to take a break. I don't know if he is taking a break. I don't know. But what I do know is that the things that they have done have scaled back, but they have still been good. His events have not been a bust. No event that he has done or they have done has been a bust this year. It just has been infrequent as opposed to years past. So I'm hoping that, you know, whatever it is, he'll still be there, or you know, he puts it in good hands while he's got to be away. But that being the case, man, you know, something was going on to the point where he said I made a promise to Al. So I don't know. I don't know how to take it, but I do know that would be the one thing that would concern me with it is like, yo, I gotta devote so much time to this. Maybe I don't have the subsequent time to devote to that. And like I said, you can only take it with a grain of salt because I only have information of his mom being not in the very best of health right now.
That makes sense.
Okay, we gotta get ready to end this, but we'll finish up.
Appreciate you, Cass. I done walked into a building. I don't know if my audio coming through, but appreciate you letting me on the panel on another great show, man.
Always, B3, always.
Definitely appreciate you letting me on the panel as well. A definite great show, definite topic, commentary afterward, conversing, boxing, and like I say, man, you know, I just hope that we get to the point where we do not attack or antagonize fighters for doing what they can do. I mean, it's bigger than them most times. And there's only 2 fighters currently that's doing things the way that they want to do things. And unfortunately, that's Jake Paul and freaking Canelo Alvarez.
You know what else? We don't know what's going on in these fighters' lives and backgrounds. So, you know, we don't know why they make these type of moves. Just jump on in the blind like people do, you know?
No, you're absolutely right. And then we don't know what's going on with their relationship with the people that they are aligned with. And I think that's the thing with Tio. I think Tio is in a bad place right now with his representation. And, you know, he's trying his best to find a way to make money because he's not getting fights, because the only fight, and trust me on this, the only fight he will get is one where Al is very convinced that he has a good chance of not winning. And it will bring that belt back to his stable. He does not want that belt to walk away because Shakur, you can just think about it. At 135, he had all 3 belts. He didn't only have the belt that Tank has. He can continuously place fights and fighters, up and coming fighters, in championship opportunities because he has 3 belts. So that means you got 3, 6, 9, 12 opportunities for 12 of your fighters to get belt opportunities.
That's right.
And now one of them walks, so that gets cut by a third. So yeah, man, I think that we really got to stop, and we got to stop being lovers of boxers and claim we love boxing. If you love boxing, then you love the fact that these guys go and they put everything on a line to show you a level of skill and talent. Exactly. And they got to go through hoops because not everybody sees good money. Sometimes people are spending money so that they can get a view on television. They got to sell tickets and do this and pay their people to this and pay this person to do that. They ain't even seeing no bread. They only see bread when people like us buy into them and they get more demand. And that's why people talk the way they do, promote themselves the way they do, because they want to become something that people want to see.
That's what it's
and it don't be other folks' fault that fights don't be happening. It's because, hey, it just don't make monetarily sense. So respect the fighters, respect the sport, honor yourselves by saying, you know what? I'm going to do my best to be as impartial as I can be and just enjoy the sport, because this stuff ain't easy and what they're going through is tough just so they can make a buck. Sometimes they don't often make it, man. This is Cass Sports, the box historian. He comes and he gives you a lesson in boxing each and every day throughout the annals of time, spanning to the very beginning, even to the present now. And covering this sport does nothing but give it honor, gives nothing but show it its proper glory and give it its proper due, because that's what these people do on their daily life. They put their lives on the line so that they can provide for their families and also provide entertainment and excitement to the fans. And likewise, there's respect in that. So if you've been in the chat, salute to you. If you've been viewing, salute to you. If you're not a member or subscribed, think about becoming a member and thinking about subscribing. There's cash apps that you can do to show love because it takes a great deal of effort to do what he does to make sure that the information he gives you is solid and concise and on point. And then when you get a chance to come up, there's no judging, there's no arguing, there's only discussion. Boxing is to be discussed, it is to be viewed, it is to be cherished. Let's not trash it with our pettiness. I'm Thomas Hill. I'm just a lowly person who watches this bad boy. 2:00 shorty. He'll be here Monday through Friday, 2:00 Eastern PM. Chilling in because it's a lesson in every session. So with that, we out.
Appreciate you, Thomas Hill.